A wife? A son?
Tonight we're talking about Christopher Nolan's latest film, The Odyssey, based on the ancient Greek poem attributed to Homer.
Hi, Odysseus.
Stupid king of Troy. I think I speak for all the Greeks when I say this war has gone on for too long.
Of course, we actually don't know if Homer was a real person or if it was multiple people writing down a story which had been passed down for generations. The Odyssey follows the Iliad as a sequel in the epic cycle, the only two of these epic poems which have a bunch of different authors to be preserved in full. The epic cycle was believed to tell the story of the events leading up to the Trojan War, the war itself, and the rest of Odysseus' life. We know about the epic cycle from summaries, criticisms, and analysis from the time. The Odyssey and the Iliad are believed to be from the 8th or 7th century BC. The Odyssey depicts Odysseus' return to Ithaca from the siege of Troy, a 10-year military campaign referenced and chronicled throughout the epic cycle. Once thought to be a fictional event, the actual city of Troy was discovered in 1870 using the Iliad as a guide to find it, in northwestern Turkey near the entrance of the Dardanelles. The archaeological site actually had 9 layers of cities, which had been destroyed and rebuilt. The battle had the favor of the gods, however, the return sees Odysseus lose their favor, and calamity repeatedly strikes. The Ithacans encounter a cyclops, sorceress, sea monsters, the lotus eaters, the sirens, and are eventually smashed on the rocks, with only Odysseus surviving for years with a nymph named Calypso, detaining and seducing him. While Odysseus desperately wants to escape from Calypso, his wife Penelope and son Telemachus, who do not know if he is alive or dead, are stuck with a whole manner of suitors who wish to marry Penelope and devour the pigs and cows and wine left behind by Odysseus.
This is the terrible heritage of man.
I accept that inheritance. I no longer see myself falling in battle or in the fury of a storm. It would take much less. A puff of cool air, a sudden chill one night. But even so, this vulnerable mass of fears has dared to battle with a god, and has not yet been defeated.
The Odyssey has been adapted multiple times for film and television at this point. In 1954, Mario Camerini directed Ulysses, which is the Roman name for Odysseus, starring Kirk Douglas as Ulysses, Silvana Mangiano as Penelope and Circe, and Anthony Quinn as Antinius the Suitor. Filmed by Mario Bava and known for its dazzling large-scale cinematography and special effects.
You will be the first served today.
Alberto Moravia's work on Ulysses as a script doctor would be turned into his novel El Desprezo, otherwise known as Contempt, which would be turned into a film about the making of the Odyssey by Godard. We have an episode on Contempt if you want to look that up. A TV miniseries from 1997, The Odyssey is known to be the most accurate representation of the actual epic poem.
I am a man of constant sorrow.
The Odyssey was also adapted into the famous Coen brothers crime comedy, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?, which transports the Odyssey into 1937 Mississippi, where a trio of convicts, played by George Clooney, John Turturro, and Tim Blake Nelson, escape from a chain gang, hoping to rescue a buried treasure from an area that's going to become a lake. They inadvertently record a folk song for some cash, which transforms them into the Soggy Bottom Boys, when their cover of Man of Constant Sorrow turns into a hit. There's only a fraction of the films that have adapted the Odyssey.
No one could stand between me and home. Not even the gods.
Christopher Nolan's adaptation comes 3 years after the release of Oppenheimer, which netted Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor for Cillian Murphy, and Best Supporting Actor for Robert Downey Jr.
Discussions.
Too many compartmentalization was supposed to be the protocol.
We were in a race against the Nazis.
Now the race is against the Soviets.
Not unless we started.
Robert, they just fired the starting gun.
So it's safe to say that the next project that Nolan would release had a high bar to clear. The cast of the Odyssey is stacked. Matt Damon as Odysseus, Tom Holland as Telemachus, Anne Hathaway as Penelope, Robert Pattinson, Zendaya, Lupita Nyong'o, Charlize Theron, John Leguizamo, John Bernthal, Elliot Page, Mia Goth, Hamish Patel, Benny Safdie, and Samantha Morton. Christopher Nolan listed Andrei Rublev and Kurosawa's Ran as two of the biggest inspirations for the Odyssey. Shooting in Morocco, including occupied Western Sahara, Greece, Italy, Iceland, Scotland, and the U.S. Christopher Nolan's version of Odysseus is a man with the weight of what they had done to Troy pressing down on him. In a departure from the poem, the gods and goddesses appear not as characters in the narrative, but as largely unseen entities making things happen and controlling them. But we only really see Athena, who's played by Zendaya. Even she is potentially a figment of Odysseus' guilt. Christopher Nolan explained this change by saying that he wanted to show the story as the characters would experience it.
Ithaca's king is coming back.
No, he's not.
Let's go home.
The characters also speak in a very modern dialect, including frequently invoking Zeus's law, which in Greece is actually called Xenia, sacred hospitality and friendship towards guests. It's actually interesting, going back to countless ancient epic films in classic Hollywood, many of the characters would speak in British accents, even though it might be set in ancient Greece or Rome, as an agreed-upon dialect for antiquity. Christopher Nolan, a British director, made his British leads, Robert Pattinson and Tom Holland, speak in American accents. Christopher Nolan is able to really do what he does best in sequences of this film. As an incredibly technical and technology-forward director, the best sequence of the whole film is the Trojan horse scene, where Nolan is really able to think through how the Trojan horse would work, where the men fit inside it, how they'd manage to get out, and the misery that would accompany staying in a giant wooden horse on a beach with water lapping into it, and the sheer brutality that would go along with getting out and onto the land. The entire film was shot with IMAX cameras, a first, using a quieter and lighter film camera, usually hidden in sound blimps. The giant Cyclops and Laestrygonians were done with wire work and were basically giant puppets, whereas the sea monster Scylla was done in CGI after the shoot. After working with Christopher Nolan on Tenet and Oppenheimer, Ludwig Göransson worked with Nolan on the score for the Odyssey, mixing synthesizers with Bronze Age gongs, lyres, and alos. The budget for the Odyssey was $250 million.
We won the war.
Before I introduce the panel, please like this video and subscribe to the Movie Night Extravaganza YouTube channel. Then hit that bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. Super chats are now open. If you have any pressing questions, send us a super chat, which helps me maintain the expenses for the show, which I am obligated by the rules of the Geneva Convention to stop everything and ask the panel. Another way to help us out is to become a patron and give us money every month. In exchange, you get access to all of our after parties, bonus content, and we'll tell you even more movies we watched recently. Patreon.com/Movie Night Extra. We have a Movie Night Extravaganza Discord. There's an invite link in the episode description, and we have a Letterboxd HQ account. So those are 2 more places to follow along with us. Our show gets simulcast, or if we're not on it at regular time, played later on This Space. This Space is a working class independent media collective. YouTube.com/ThisSpaceTV. Subscribing really helps out, or even more, sharing content from This Space and encouraging others to do the same. By working together, we can break through the algorithm. Okay, let me introduce the illustrious panel. Conan Neutron is the co-host and senior producer for Movie Night Extravaganza, host of Protonic Reversal, an independent Film Critics of America film critic, and the frontman for the band Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends. Check out his music at neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. Kristina Oakes is a co-host of Movie Night Extravaganza, a streamer on Twitch, twitch.tv/cosmopolitics, a host at This Space, hosting Kristina's Corner, and is across social media at Cosmopolitics and on Letterboxd at Kristina. Forrest and Kristina have a second show, The Absurdity Space, live on This Space on Wednesdays at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. Zach Marsh is an actor, director, and frequent cinema goer who made a short film called A Talk in the Park, which is now on YouTube. Link in the bio that he directed and starred in is on Letterboxd at Zach B. Marsh. I, of course, am your host and a guy who does not want to go home, Forrest Miller. Zeus's Law, you can't hit me. Bro, I said Zeus's Law, you can't do that. Bro, you can't hit me, bro. Zeus's Law.
Indeed. Zach Marsh, welcome back, man.
Hey, Conan, thank you so much for having me back. It's great to be back. And
have you...
Spoilers
yeah,
for, like, feelings like what a fucking great movie to come back.
Yeah, I was gonna say you really dig this one. I mean, you're a Nolan guy, generally.
I'm a big Nolan guy. I mean, Memento was like life-changing for me. I saw it not in the theater when I was 6, but like I saw it on VHS when I was 7 or 8 and just changed my life. So like, I've been a Nolan guy, and this is, he I've sent this meme to like 8 people. You can't keep getting away with this because it's just like how can you make fucking like how can you have every movie you make be a fucking like landmark entry in the fucking pantheon of cinema? And he's done it again with the Odyssey.
Which made me roll my eyes when people thought this was going to be an absolute disaster. I'm like, do you not know who Christopher Nolan is? Has he ever dropped?
I don't think.
Box office
when you
bomb,
think
a
of the
critical
bad
failure?
faith, like right-wing dipshits who think the movie's gonna be bad because there was a trans person and a black woman in the film.
Well,
like,
clearly, how can it be good?
Like, in good faith, thought that this was gonna be a bad movie. It's like, one, it's Nolan. Two, did you not see the fucking trailer that I saw? Because
yeah, I mean, speaking of like movies that famously kind of are a disaster, it's funny that this is being compared constantly to like Troy, when like one of the big things like about Troy is that it was originally going to be Christopher Nolan directing it.
Yeah.
Which would have been better as a movie. Troy is a great idea.
Really out here trying to say that movie was better.
Like Troy is basically Wolfgang Petersen's best movie by accident, by like default, because it's the one that's like slightly better than mediocre of his like
English. Hey, Never-Ending Story.
Never-Ending Story. First of all, Never-Ending Story is terrible.
Second, whoa! All right, hey,
But hold on. Here's my issue with Never-Ending Story. It lies to you. It doesn't even make it to the 2-hour mark. There's nothing never-ending.
All right, there it is. Okay.
All right, someone else already made that joke on our Never-Ending Story stream, and we didn't like it now.
6.
Yeah. So Troy is the Iliad, and this is the Odyssey. It's interesting that for such a foundational beginning of narrative storytelling story, that there haven't really been many adaptations of the Odyssey. There have been elements of it that have shown up. I'm thinking about the Harryhausen Sinbad one, and other sort of sweeping epics that take some characters from it, or they take some kind of ideas from it, but never a straight adaptation. I had kind of black holed this as a memory, but I read the Odyssey like 4 times when I was a kid. And I read the Iliad once because I didn't find it nearly as interesting. I like all the monsters better. That was like more interesting to me. But like, I was surprisingly, and there's, by the way, plenty of white dudes talking about this movie on the internet. They didn't need another one. So I was, on the scale, but I'm like, oh yeah, I bet that's going to be cool. I bet it's going to be interesting. But I was like, oh man, like we get to see like the Cyclops on the screen. We get to see the sirens. You get to see like these creatures that are like in Legends of old. Because I used to, I was a very interesting child, which is say probably kind of strange. I used to read like mythology stuff for fun, like Norse mythology, Egyptian mythology, Roman mythology, and especially Greek mythology. That was the one I liked the best.
I can't wait for Stephanie to go back to the underworld so we can get some cold weather up in this bitch.
So I didn't realize until I was actually sitting down watching. I'm like, I'm watching the Odyssey. This is crazy. Like it is a movie by like, arguably, opinions vary, but one of the greater living filmmakers going, at least from like a big box office epic sweeping standpoint. I was like, it feels like this should be a layup. And I loved it. I thought it was badass. I mean, like I also don't know. I mean, like I'm so tuned out of like online discourse in regards to like literally anything because it's reactions to reactions to reactions.
Yeah.
That I guess I didn't realize how poisonous that was, but I feel like it's just generally in a resting state poisonous now. So it didn't bother me at all. I wasn't thinking about any of that. I was just like, oh, this is great.
Yeah. And also too, a lot of us read it in like 9th grade and we watched that original movie from like the 60s and all that. And that's where I was like, oh yeah, because I just remember that one.
Right.
Like,
well, and I watched it. I watched it like well after reading the book, but by the time it was like covered in school and stuff like that, I was like, oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah. But I love the Ray Harryhausen Cyclops. Like I love all that stop motion stuff. I think that stuff's great. But it definitely, Seventh Voyage of Sinbad is, the Harryhausen stuff's cool. Have you seen that movie lately? It doesn't really hold up though. but it's like, I mean, we wouldn't have Evil Dead, if not, the stop motion skeletons, and things like that.
Yeah.
It's inspirational in different ways. But again, I'm getting off point. I didn't realize how stoked I was until I was actually watching. I'm like, oh my God, I'm seeing the Odyssey. This is crazy. And then also the next thing I thought of was like, wow, I hope I don't have to pee during it.
Yeah. Really if you have to, I always tell people, like, if you're going to see a Christopher Nolan movie, dehydrate the entire time. Do not drink all day. Maybe wait halfway through the movie and maybe put a catheter in you and you'll be fine.
I made it this time. I didn't get up and pee during the
Yeah, nor did I.
Which is good.
Yeah.
I feel this is
So
like
proud of you.
It just occurred to me that I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's hard to, you can't really miss scenes in any Nolan movie, but I think this is like the second like densest Nolan film. Like, this is a film where if you look away for 15 seconds in this film, you're missing like a pivotal thing.
Yeah,
there's multiple storylines happening simultaneously.
Yeah,
so there's not really like in the 3 hours, there's not really that much space to even have a breather, because you're getting, it's flipping between Odysseus telling like his story to Calypso, who's the Charlize Theron, who's I wouldn't mind being stuck on an island. But there's he's trying to remember things while also continuing to eat the lotus, which is pretty funny. And then at the same time, you're seeing the story of Telemachus and Penelope and their house and the suitors, and that's happening at the same time. And then you're also seeing the visions that Odysseus is having with Athena, who just kind of, they kind of just hired Zendaya to just kind of like look at him judgmentally, which I guess that is what I would do as a goddess or a god, just to stare at someone every time he makes a bad decision. It's just so you're seeing all of those things simultaneously moving over each other, and there's not really extra space to like add like a just sitting around. It's like, nah, you gotta go, man. You gotta get off this island.
Eileen Jones said that it looks like she's waiting for the bus a lot of the time, which cracked me up. I'm like, I don't agree, but that is very funny. Go ahead, Zach.
Things happen though in this movie in like the 48th minute that have a payoff at 2 hours and 47.
Yeah,
like everything, like every single little piece of this movie matters and has.
Yeah, like everyone's like,
and like Oppenheimer was like that too.
Yeah,
but Oppenheimer was more, like, because a lot of it was the deposition and the hearings, and then like Strauss's like it. Of course, everything's going to come out in like testimony and whatnot, so you expect that. But then the Odyssey would have like the most throwaway little like picking up a certain like the bow, or him stringing the bow, or one little remark that someone makes that seems like it's just like, yeah, cool line of dialogue, and then all of a sudden 2 hours later it has a fucking payoff.
Yeah,
Like
there's always that whole point where it's like, what point in a Christopher Nolan movie can you take a bathroom break? I'm like, there's not one for this one, unfortunately. So
no,
again,
it's not. No, it's very.
Bring back the intermission.
Exactly. I just said, let's do it.
They would never do it for this one though. It's making too much money. They got to pack in more showings.
I think there is. I can't remember what exactly the moment. There was a moment where I was like, if this worked, like an intermission could actually go here, but I can't.
Yeah.
For the life of me now, I can't. Like the movie moves fast enough.
They would never do it. Yeah, for such that's a good point. For such a lot of story to cover, and for a lot of narrative to get through, and for so many characters, it does move along. It moves along very quickly. Like, it never like even drags, because there's a lot of just dudes in a boat being like, I guess we'll go to this island, and then like, oh crap, run! Like, that happens like 5 times.
Well, I'm trying to think what the intermission point would be on this. Because I was actually, my thing with Oppenheimer, I don't know where you put an intermission in Oppenheimer.
Yeah, where do you put an intermission in Christopher
like
Nolan?
Maybe after the Trinity test, but the Trinity test.
Yeah, I think you do it like you do the Trinity test, and then you go intermission. If you have to pee, go pee now, and then you have Oppenheimer realizing what he's done for the rest of the party.
You have the court stuff.
Part of the problem with putting it there is that that happens like 70% of the way into Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
right,
exactly. At that point, you already peed your pants. So
I'm trying to think of like one. What's the halfway point in the Odyssey? But also, would that be a good intermission? It could be maybe
hour and a half. I don't know.
No, I know. Time wise, I know. But I'm trying to think of
what. But like, what would be like the big epic? Like, the end
scene would be the punctuation.
Well, I guess you could do it after they actually show well, no, that's too far into it. I was gonna say after they show.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think when they sink the ship, like when everyone but Odysseus gets sunk and he washes ashore with the Calypso's island, then he's picking up with Calypso.
But same with Oppenheimer. Like that's really late. Like that's like that's 2 hours and 15 minutes into the film.
Yeah. So that's why they didn't do it, I guess. I love that Ran was something he was thinking about with this, as well as Andrei Rublev, which is like both of those things totally make sense, right? And I was thinking about the other day, like I really like I've been kind of one of the people driving the movie night adventure when we do that theme month. I love adventure movies, and we don't get those very often.
Yeah,
we don't
like
get
a good
those.
adventure.
It's a great adventure movie. This is like the first great adventure movie we've had like in a while, frankly. I mean,
what? How many years now?
And it's like
Anaconda 2025. No, thank you.
It's not. I guess it's probably not the first. Like I'm sure you could go. Actually, there's. But it is like the original adventure story.
It's absolutely right. I mean, like there's not much more that comes before this. Like
there's Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh, right?
Yeah, we call anything that takes that kind of shape, that narrative shape, like an Odyssey, and then of course you call everything that kind of takes Odysseus' shape as like the hero's journey.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, this, when you really look at like, if you look at things as being kind of derived from it, like this and Gilgamesh are the two most ripped off stories, because almost every story that has come since has some element of either one or both of them in it.
Right.
Like even down to fucking you can make parallels between Gilgamesh and like most fucking rom-coms if you squint. So it's like it's they are the two, they're like the two foundational the Gilgamesh, the Iliad, and the Odyssey are the foundational kind of stories.
And then Beowulf.
People are going to be Beowulf as well, yeah. People are going to either be influenced by it or kind of reacting against it. See Grendel, by the way, for one of those.
Yeah.
Where it's like a reaction against like, oh, well, we can't do that type of thing. But it is, literally one of the formative foundational narrative texts. And it's crazy to think about. It's like there should probably be 17 adaptations of it. Not really. I mean, you get some,
it's too long. Like there's just so much to do in this movie. That's why a lot of people don't.
Which is why you get something like Troy, where it's like, okay, let's take a small part of that and try to elongate it and then think it through, rather than because I reread, and I think I read it when I was younger, but I reread the Odyssey, or listened to a version of the listened to a version of the audiobook, which is nice. It's nice to have someone reading you the Odyssey. It was Dan Stevens, but there's like scenes that happen in a very short amount of time can be elongated really far here. I mean, even just the entire sequence with the Cyclops.
Just the walk up to the cave, right? Because
Yeah.
because as a film, right, you get that tension of you're like, oh, what are they gonna find over here? Even when you know the story, you're like, oh, there's this, like, I don't know what's gonna happen. It's like, well, I kind of do know what's gonna happen, but you don't know what's gonna happen because that's the filmmaking aspect of it, right? Even and you can expect the punch, but it's still it's still gonna be fantastic when you see it happening, and I think that's fascinating as well because. Yeah, it's not that it's unadaptable. Most of the things we think of, I mean, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou was kind of, they kind of did like their version of the Odyssey a little bit, but it's sort of like people have done, let's do the Odyssey, but like this. Mm-hmm. Let's do this type of story rather than a straight adaptation. And, a lot of that has to do with the fact that, period pieces that aren't, romances with people in fancy Victorian clothes are out. Like nobody really likes doing those right now, but then also
you got a modern spin to it.
But then also there's just a lot of story. There's just a lot of story to do, and most filmmakers would be like, I don't even know like what to do here. Personally, I mean, I've read the Iliad. I like the Iliad. It's good, but the Odyssey is like way better, frankly. I mean, it's like the Terminator 2 of Homer's poems.
It's also why you get. I feel like. Because I feel like there's like
tying it all back to the beginning of the month, everybody.
When it is a story like this, you get such a there's so much pressure to do this right and to do this big and to turn this into like really an epic, which I think probably is why a lot of filmmakers have shied away from it. But it is interesting that like you've gotten a few of them under the Ulysses title, which is obviously the Latinized version of Odysseus. And so people feel a little bit less pressure to be like, oh, this is like the Odyssey, but it's Ulysses. And of course, there's the James Joyce novel Ulysses that's kind of based around that too. But it's like, you get like a at least a little bit like we're gonna tone this down a little bit and not call it the Odyssey, because I feel like that's such a marquee title, and you get to bring it down a little bit. But still, I do think that that's part of the reason is it's because it's such a foundational story that, like, as a filmmaker, you have to have a lot of confidence, or be at a point where you have a lot of confidence to really take this on. I mean, even something like Ben-Hur, when you look at like a movie that's that big, right? Like Ben-Hur is obviously based on like a novel that came out far later than everything else. So you're like, well, let's take a different part of, let's not actually do like a biblical epic. Let's do a biblical epic based on Ben-Hur, right? Like it's you have a lot of pressure when it comes to doing something.
A lot of epics back in the day. What happened?
A lot of them are. I mean, there's 8 of them that are just straight up lost. But we know about some of them because Aristotle wrote criticisms of them, like was talking shit about them in the margins of his his poems. So it's kind of funny that like you have even like a few of these. You're like, oh, we know about it because Aristotle was complaining about the format.
Yeah, he was giving a critique. He was the he was the film Twitter of his day.
Yeah.
All due respect to Aristotle and Plato, but I would have thought of those things too if I was like the 10th person to ever exist.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wait till they hear this stunning takedown. He's writing on the wall.
Yeah.
There's even like a literary takedown. It's like there aren't that many like there's not that many written works that you can sit there and be like. So you have somebody being
there's like 5 books. Yeah.
These 5 books. I think 3 of them are derivative.
Yeah. That'd be a good bit. Yeah, Mr. Show or something.
Derivative. But yeah.
Shall we? There's a lot of plot to get to. Why don't we get in with the plot summary?
Yeah. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is I think it's interesting the Laestrygonians. I have a hard time saying that word. Laestrygonians are such a big part of the marketing. When those, I mean, for good reason, right? Like they have the huge suits of armor, these giant, these giant, very formidable. That kind of like the kind of blow up the entire screen. And like there's obviously the picture that's gone like pretty viral where it's the difference between the IMAX version, which they're huge on the IMAX screens, and then like on a regular screen. But I think it's interesting. I think a lot of filmmakers have shied away from that because it's too much like the Cyclops, that scene. And so I like that Christopher Nolan included that.
Well, and it's.
I also like, and to the point of the film being like experiencing it through the subjective eyes of the characters. You don't even find out that those guys that they're like. You don't find out that they're called Laestrygonians.
Yeah,
right.
It's just
you never find out that the that the Cyclops' name is Polyphemus. Yeah. Like it's
as they're floating away. My name is Polyphemus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. It's just like, yeah, it's just I think that they were used really intelligently in that way, and by not getting more of them, it plays into, that you're seeing this from Odysseus's point of view.
Yeah, but it also allows you to get rid of most of Odysseus's men in like a single stroke, because he obviously going around from island to island, they're island hopping like General MacArthur. And they go from so many different islands, and they have 3 ships. It's like that's a lot to look at, I think. Yeah. Whereas you get at least 2 of the ships down in that one scene, and they're just running away most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. They're going to a different island. Oh crap! There's something terrible here. Run away! and then
run away.
Well, yeah. And people were talking about Monty Python in the chat, but it's sort of like that. Is what happened in the stories as well, and there is a body count, and the thing is, what makes it interesting is you do get, you don't get like a deep level of characterization for everybody, but you get more humanity out of it than you do in like a lot of the sword and sandals sort of epics, even the good ones, frankly, where it's just sort of like, we got 3 leads and then a cast of thousands. And I was like, well, okay, that's great, but like any of these guys have names or no, But anyway, let's get into it with the plots. Ithaca has long been since without its king Odysseus, who disappeared following the Trojan War. Several suitors, including nobleman Antonius, aggressively court Odysseus' wife Penelope to claim the throne from Odysseus and Penelope's son Telemachus. Only Penelope, Telemachus, and the half-blind servant, how do you say it? Eumaeus?
I think I'm pronouncing his name, by the way.
Still believe Odysseus will return. By the way, I was like, oh, who is that guy? I was like, oh man, it's like Osamu. Oh my
Yeah.
god!
By the way, early contender, best performance of the year in.
He's so good. Like I was like absolutely shocked. I'm like, I was like, that must be some like British character actor I don't know or something.
I'll
Hey,
tell
hey, hey,
anyone who's
as someone who's defends
anyone who's an Oscars
Best
better.
Romeo and Juliet.
John Leguizamo is winning Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, he's quite
Calling
good
it
at this.
right now.
Yeah,
He's so cool.
He's winning Best Supporting Actor. What, like, honestly, like, career best. Genuinely one of the best performances like I've ever fucking seen.
All right. Yeah, it was really great. So Telemachus plans to travel with his teacher and bodyguard, Odysseus' friend, mentor. You know, that's where you wonder where that word came from.
Yeah. I don't find it very realistic that he has a mentor and the guy's name is Mentor.
It's like, all right, I want you to think about this for a second, kid.
It's a little suspicious that he goes in an Odyssey and his name happens to be Odysseus.
Go to King of Sparta to discover his father's whereabouts. Antinius? Whatever. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
Antinius.
keep going. Antinius learns this from his lover, Penelope's handmaid, Melantho.
Yeah.
Melantho.
Yeah, Melantho.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's Mia Goth, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in here, but she's got a good heel turn here. He conspires with other suitors to kill Telemachus, which is a big plot point in the story as well. Upon his return and plunder Ithaca. So this is the setup of we get a homie with the stick. What's his name? He's buddies with Nolan. That's why he's in the movie. He's like telling the story. He's like hitting the stick. Come on, it's like a famous
Travis
person
Scott.
that I don't care about. Thank
Travis
you.
Scott.
Yeah, Travis Scott. Thank you.
It's not that he was
Like,
it's not
with
that he was-
almost no screen time, like, Travis Scott was genuinely fucking, like, the perfect casting for that.
Yeah, it's not that he was friends with Nolan though. Nolan heard Travis Scott doing like a rap song. I can't remember where he said he heard it, but he heard like he heard a concert that he did, a rap concert, and he thought, oh, this is kind of like the role that these like kind of bards played back in Greek poetry.
Yeah, but
I was really skeptical.
I don't
Like,
think he didn't know him before approaching him though. I don't think.
No,
well,
you're
worked
wrong.
on Tenet. They worked
You're
together.
wrong. Yeah. I was waiting to announce that, but yeah, they worked on Tenet together, so he knows him very well from that, and like they apparently talked about it.
I was very skeptical about that casting, but combined with one, he's only in like 2 minutes of the movie, and
Yeah.
two, just like I honestly don't know who could have done that specific part better than that.
It's evocative too, because it's one of those things where like it's when you think about like what that type of character would be, right? And there's been a lot of talking about casting and like what is and is not period accurate, what have you. But I think it totally works. I don't.
Well, and also, and the direct line it ties from like a bard of that time is the first like stepping stone in like thousands of years that lead you to hip hop. So I thought that was
absolutely sure. Yeah.
I thought that was really cool as well.
Absolutely. So we get this setup, which this look. I'm not going to talk trash about a plot summary for a movie that's been out for less than a week. But yeah, like the conceit of this is the very beginning that like, hey, these guys are all trying to take Odysseus's place, and that's very key. And what they're doing is using the frequently invoked Zeus's law to basically impugn on the hospitality of the household, and that's a very important plot point because that's why they're all around. And of course, things being patriarchal to the extreme, like she's in a really weird spot because you can't just be like, hey, drop a pin, Odysseus, where are you? R.I.P. Odysseus, you would have loved Google Maps. Cool. Menelaus and his wife Helen express uncertainty about Odysseus' fate, but offer Telemachus stories about him. Rumors abound that the Greek civilization is in decline due to attacks by murderous people from the sea who do not abide by Zeus's law, the mutual respect between guests and hosts. So this is like basically seafaring confederacy, like around late Bronze Age. Your prototypical beginnings of what would become Romans. You also have quote unquote barbarians, which there's a whole great Terry Jones series about that. Yeah, right, exactly. Egyptians, but they just all lumped into, because at the time Greece is like the cradle of civilization. So it's a people from the sea. So that means people that aren't Greek, basically. But it is a real thing.
No, we still don't know all of the there's a whole bunch of different tribal confederations kind of that make up the peoples from the sea. We still don't know a lot certain things about them. Although there are groups that are kind of been traced to Turkey, which is basically where Troy was. Yeah. Which if you kind of look at the narrative of the sacking of Troy happening over and over again, they probably kind of caught the attention of those people while pulling into the city of Troy, and they got chased out again. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and so again, this is something that is frequently discussed, is that for cultures that did not have a written history, that history is largely lost. Like if it was like an oral history or done through story or whatnot, and it wasn't written down, then a lot of that information was lost over the years. And so, could be Aegean tribes, could have been like from Sicily, Sardinia, southern Italy, Cyprus, who knows, right? They're probably not even coming from that far away, really. But it's people from the sea because, again, there's how many people in the world? Not many.
Yeah,
and of course, if you're kind of people from you're not going to be like, hey, we come from this place, because then the Greeks are just going to go, okay, well, let's just go and sack that place, and do it back to you.
You got resources, sounds good.
Well, and the unfortunate, unfortunately with an oral history in general is even if you have the most deft and skilled and dutiful stewards of that oral history, over thousands of years, it gets telephone gamed inevitably.
Absolutely. And that factors big into later on with the Roman Empire too, who were the winner's history of rock and roll of their time.
This is our Roman Empire doing this podcast.
We talk about the Vandals to this day, vandalism, right? And the Vandals were literally just getting harried by Rome time and time again. They're like, hey, if you keep doing this, we're not gonna let you keep doing this. So then after the third or fourth time that they tried to attack and steal from the city, the Vandals sacked Rome. And to this day, what do we think of with Vandals? Vandalism. Oh, they're people that break things. Yeah. Hooligans. They were provoked over and over again over decades by the Romans, and eventually all right, then we're going to react.
Yeah. And the other one is barbarians at the gates. Is the same thing from that same moment. And it's the barbarous peoples, and it's oh no, those are just people that weren't Roman.
And in the Gaelic, the tribes, the tribes to the north, it was you're far better off as a woman being in one of those quote unquote barbarian tribes than even being in a Roman citizen or a Greek citizen, frankly.
Also, too, women back then were worshipped differently. When it came to things like menstrual cycles, women were given a week to just go away and relax and unwind and all that. I'm why can't we do that today? Come on, I mean, seriously, it was
because
interesting
capitalism.
How women were properly worshipped in ways they give us life, they give us this, they give us that. We got to treat them, whatever. And it's oh, man.
Right.
If only it was real.
So that's Penelope and Telemachus. That's their Telemachus, whatever you want to say it. These that's what they're up to there. And you get a rich world of people being very opportunistic, mostly.
Yeah.
Tom Holland will stop playing
after departing Ithaca, Odysseus and the Greeks land on the shores of Troy, plotting to breach its walls. After 10 years, Odysseus masterminds a plan to hide inside a large wooden horse to sneak inside of Troy, with Sinon left behind to present the horse as a gift. Sinon is killed. Yep. Sinon is killed, but the deception succeeds.
So I think we should also... There's a lot of names being thrown around here. I think it's totally fine to refer people by the actor or actress rather than by their proper name. And then also, I think that some of the castings are kind of interesting. So it's kind of, Elliot Page, of course, worked with Nolan in Inception.
Yeah.
So there's a previous relationship there. But a character that actually has a lot of story saliency in this telling, because it's the whole arc is. We'll get to it later on, but it's
also
very
that Elliot
story.
Page hasn't been doing too much acting recently, so it goes to show that he's still got it. He's really you can tell how comfortable he is.
You would see just the second anyone heard that Elliot Page was cast in this, the absolute uproar, because obviously culturally
he's playing Achilles. I'm like, no, he's not. How many times we have to tell you this?
Yeah, because Achilles is not people who said that too. Achilles isn't part of the fucking
Iliad.
Odyssey.
It's a different. What are we doing?
Respect the sacred text of Homer. They don't even know the characters in the fucking story.
Achilles plays in the fucking Odyssey. He plays a corpse in a grave in the Odyssey.
Yeah, so part of the Odyssey that the only part, and the reason I guess now that they're at least saying that, is because Achilles was in Hades when he goes down, when he goes down to the underworld, and there's everyone talking to him like, "Hey, Odysseus, you kind of fucked up, bro. You want to account for yourself." I love the idea of just going down. Everyone just aggrieved with your conduct for your life.
Everyone's mad at you.
Yeah. You're like, oh man, I shouldn't have gone down here. The Greeks opened the gates for Menelaus' older brother Agamemnon to sack Troy and retrieve Helen.
Pause for a second. Yeah. Dude, Benny Safdie.
Yeah. Which we don't obviously I saw people posting about this, which I agree with. He has so much aura with the amazing suit of armor when he's just standing there.
Oh yeah, big Vader energy. Yeah, totally.
He walks in and then he pulls off the hood as he's like, "Oh, I was made soft or whatever," and he pulled off the hood and his wife was patting him down before finally just cutting his throat. And you're like, "Oh fuck, it's Benny Safdie."
Well, because
do you ever see Benny Safdie's face full on?
You see his hair.
No.
Yeah.
Because when he takes the thing,
you see this much, right? You see the eyes, and you see through the helmet.
And that doesn't count. That's that. That to me is for the Vader analogy. That's the equivalent of seeing Vader's mask and being like, "Oh, I saw Vader's face."
Yeah, but that has to have been a decision, right? And, it's effective because every time you see him, you're like, "Oh man, that guy's imposing." I mean, the little spinal pieces in his in the back of the helmet, it's on the poster. It's an evocative image, and it's something where it's like, wow, who's that guy?
You know what? If Agamemnon was nothing without that suit, then he shouldn't have had it.
Agamemnon and Menelaus return home early, while Odysseus' army, including his second in command, Eurycylus, follow a slower route.
What I said is they put on the avoid tolls feature on Google Maps.
I like that there's when Matt Damon as Odysseus and Penelope, and Hathaway are talking together. I mean, and they're about to make love before he goes away. Finally, they mention the fact that the whole idea of Helen of Troy being kidnapped is a pretext for and you see it between when they're having the relationship with Menelaus and Helen of Troy, when they're having when we finally meet them, it's a pretext for the trade routes being into Asia, kind of being Troy
that's the more logical reason for these battles. But I got some thoughts on that. But we can wait till we get to Helen though.
Right.
There about that.
When searching for an island for supplies, they are trapped in a cave by a Cyclops who feasts upon the soldiers in the following days.
Okay, so lots to talk about here. First of all, our man is just like, cheese, great, and just takes a big handful, and I'm like, whoa, hey.
Good cheese.
I get that you're hungry, everyone's starving, so maybe they're a little more eager and bold, but
also they didn't really have food testing kits back then.
That's true, I guess.
That back then it was basically not quite, but they were about one step removed from the way you found out something was poisonous was the caveman next to you ate it and died, and then you went.
I guess I
think the way you found out something went bad, you smell it, and if it smells good, you're like, okay, I could probably risk this.
I love the character design for Polyphemus. I think that with the eye being sideways and what have you.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool, and I think it's absolutely. I think no one even said it's a throwback to the Harryhausen Cyclops to a certain degree, right? That idea. But and then you have, like all that works for me. I was a little disappointed because that's sort of where you get the Odysseus, the smart guy, the trickster, right? Like who in the book where he basically tricks the Cyclops. They have a discussion in the book.
Yeah, I love the discussion, and I wish that is one part that I wish he had kept with the whole "I'm nobody." Like,
nobody. No, who did this to you? Nobody. Like, what do you mean? What's the problem?
It's very Abbott and Costello, but thousands of years ago.
But thousands of years before Abbott and Costello. Yeah. I kind of miss that. I like that they did the thing of like, all right, well, since he's blinded, we'll put hay on you so we feel like the sheep when they're going by, so on and so on. I mean, let's not get it twisted. They did go into his house and basically were like, all right, let's help ourselves, I guess.
Yeah, this is one of the parts of the movie where everyone's like, yeah.
But
it's pretty rad.
It's a part of it where they violate Zeus's law, right? Like they go to somebody's house that you're supposed to wait for the person to offer you something.
Three brothers, by the way.
Instead, they're just taking whatever it is and going like, I'm sure he'll give us some more stuff plus what we've already taken. Like he'll be happy to see us, whoever lives here.
They'll greet us as liberators.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's Theron. They know.
That's American Odysseus. Well, we've got to make the Cyclops cave safe for democracy.
I also love that the Cyclops is Bill Irwin, too.
Yes, I love Bill Irwin. He's
great.
Such a good character actor, and also someone who was in Legion. He was one of the carries.
Right. Yep.
And he's good at doing a lot of that stunt makeup work.
Yeah, and he's a guy that even if you don't you could look him up like, oh, that guy, right? But I mean, he was Tars in Interstellar, right? He was
in the Ron Howard
in the water
Christmas movie.
Oh yeah, sure.
He was a clown in "Don't Worry, Be Happy" music video.
It's also it's a 60-foot tall puppet. Like when you actually look at the puppet versus the actors, it's the difference is huge. Because and it would be so easy to just CGI that and go, we're gonna have you guys react to something and then we'll add to something later, and it shows you how much Nolan cares about his craft, that he adds that additional layer where it's like, no, we're gonna actually have you looking at this 60-foot tall thing and you can actually immerse yourself in that.
Can you imagine how faster this film would have been made and sloppier if they just did everything with CGI and he just didn't care?
Ugh. I mean, I would hate it.
I
think the
probably
trailer as a Avengers kind of shows you what this movie would look like if it was done that way.
Yeah, exactly. It's just gormless. There's no weight to anything. Nobody cares. There's no stakes. It's just like watching a video game or something, right? I mean, it's like, I don't know. It doesn't work. So
I think the weakest thing that they run into is Scylla, is the sea monster. So if you could just replace that with everything else in here, from the Laestrygonians to the Cyclops, if you took all of those things and made them that same kind of CGI concept, right? Like it would.
And for Scylla, it works. And by the way, I've been wanting to see that creature portrayed in a movie for my entire life. So I was like, awesome. Because I was like, how's he gonna do it? How's he gonna do it? Because the one of them's easy. I'm gonna keep going. The one of them's easy, which is like, oh, it's a whirlpool. You don't have to show anything else. But it's but then when it's well, it's the way it's described is really ambiguous, in the text, which is just basically, these tentacles come down and come get you, and it's like, oh
yeah. But I think it works for the one. But if everything was that, it would be it would not work as well.
And it's brief.
Yeah,
and that's what a lot of people who are relying on CGI to do their movie making for them don't realize is if you let people linger on CGI, there is an uncanny valley aspect to it that's going to take you out of the movie.
Yes.
So if you're going to have it, you can combine it with practical effects like shadows and things along those lines, and make it freaky and make it, assuming that's your goal. But when people are just there's just the CGI character just hanging out there, it's like, well, that looks stupid.
Yeah, you can use CGI to help enhance the practical effects. You can't just solely depend on the CGI to do all the work.
Like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, right? Yeah. I mean, because where they had this is Roger Rabbit. That's that's this wire thing. So you got a thing to look at, and so on and so on. But how does that work so much better than most narrative storytelling these days that overuse CGI? I don't know. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Jurassic Park is the same way.
Yeah.
Eventually, they blind the Cyclops and escape. Only to hear him cry out to Poseidon. I think it's a secondary thing. I wish they had done the nobody thing, and I wish they had this. But I do think if they weren't going to do all of that, it does work that the first time you hear the Cyclops speak, it's like,
they're like, oh shoot, he's sentient it. He's sentient. Yeah. Whoops.
And then
it's like it was a big old bear. Yeah.
And then it's like, would you talk to ants if you saw a bunch of ants? Would you talk to them? And it's like, and you get the metaphor is good because of the actual size of the Cyclops that you're.
Yeah, that is good. I will say that with the Damon depiction of Odysseus, we don't get a lot of Odysseus being the smartest guy in the room. We hear about it a lot.
Yeah.
We certainly hear everyone. I mean, he's got the rep, but I that was a moment that I think in the story that was kind of a missed opportunity. I get it though, because I think he's just like, well, how am I going to do that? Okay.
But there's something farcical because when you think about the smartest guy in the room, right? Like it's and then they have the question like, should we try reasoning with him? And then he's like, I think we're a little bit beyond that. And it's like that is a funny thing because you can think of the Odysseus as like in the actual poem, he does try reasoning with him multiple times. He's like, oh, maybe try my wine, and then you can let us go if you like the wine. Maybe do this, maybe do that. He's like, he tries reasoning with him because you're stuck in a cave for 4 days. It's like, what else are you gonna do besides trying to reason with the giant Cyclops?
We're all cave people on the walls, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah.
Try reasoning with him. Well, I think we're beyond that.
So he cries out to Poseidon. That's how they know he's a sentient creature. And that like, whoops.
They
it's
land
not
on
so good that he's apparently tight with the god who controls the oceans. That ain't good.
They land on Aea, where the giant Laestrygonians kill most of the party. I mean that is a good way of dispatching. I think with the additional ships. I think that's.
So how they do this, where you just see and you see it looks like a soldier in armor. And they're walking up, kind of like, say hello, and we just need some food. Then turn around, and it's like a small child, but it's like human sized. And they're like, oh no! And then you immediately get the ramifications of that, but then you get that really annoying shrieking. All of that stuff is played so well, and when they come out, it's like, and again, it was like run, and they get caught in their little crazy tree trap. Kind of kill zone kind of things like cattle and whatnot, because very clearly that's how they're being viewed, right? Because it's like one of those things where these are an apex predator amongst men, and again there is a lot of run back to the ship, run back to the ship, run back to the ship.
And it almost sounds Python-esque. It's just kind of played for humor. It's like they're all like, oh, run. Yeah.
But then, I mean, the death toll just from those guys alone. I mean, it's like, more than half of the dudes. Like I don't know if anyone's got a kill counter on the screen going or anything, but it's like a lot of the crew. So it's no wonder that everyone's kind of in a mutinous mood after this.
Yeah. Well, and you get the cold logic of everything twice within this amount of time, where first you get the cold logic of the Poseidon thing where he's like, look, we have to go home. It's not like we can make so they're like, the seas are against us and the wind is against us, and he's like, well, gotta keep going. And they land in the second place, and then it's they have to leave most of their people behind to die on the beach, where if you're Greek at this time, it's like you have to make a sacrifice to help the souls of your comrades in the underworld. And it's like we literally cannot do that. We have to leave now. So you're already getting this butting of heads between a skeptical, I think, and kind of rational Odysseus, who's like, look, we're soldiers, and sometimes you can't just sit here and pray to the gods. And then his men who are like, we have to do everything by the books, and we can't defy the gods. It's like, well, we did. We've already defied the gods. We got to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely.
The survivors form a mutiny, leaving Odysseus with their ship as they seek refuge with the witch Circe, who turns them into pigs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so this is great. This is my sidebar that Samantha Morton is Circe, right? Who's great. Mm-hmm. I literally just saw the Lynn Ramsey movie Morven Collar last week. which is crazy because that for the first time because that came out in 2002.
Great, right?
It's really good, really good. I mean, I'm kind of working through all of Lynn Ramsey's movies in sequentially, and so that's my second one.
I'm behind on a couple. I haven't seen the Jennifer Lawrence Robert Pattinson one yet.
Oh, Die My Love.
Die My Love. I think the movie before that. I think her second most recent movie. I haven't seen either, but yeah, Lynn's fucking.
I'm really stoked.
It's fucking incredible.
It's really good.
I need to rewatch it after watching this. I actually think there's a lot of kind of common ground between her performance in this and in.
Yeah, so it was crazy because I saw that like 2 days before, and then I'm seeing her like now. As seriously, I'm like, oh my god, this is like kind of crazy. This is like crazy, but it's a really talk about a wonderful performance because seriously is like. There's a lot in that character that's interesting. I mean, this is a woman who lives alone, asterisks, except for her raven that also is her sister, and and is what happens to women living alone in these times? Well, nothing good usually.
Yeah, which is obviously and I've heard a lot of people talking about this. I've seen like kind of videos of TikTokers kind of breaking this stuff down or like that kind of stuff. Yeah, but there's
shoot me in the face.
Well, they pop up on Facebook.
Videos now,
but they're breaking down the fact that the original version of Cersei is obviously she's a witch or a sorceress, kind of a small minor god who decides to mess with the people who arrive on her island by turning them into animals, the men who she knows are kind of gluttonous and won't refuse food. But this version of it, she's scared that there's an entire army that has just arrived on her shores, and she knows what they've done in Troy. She knows that they've sacked Troy and raped and pillaged and killed. And so she's actually and you can see it in the performance, afraid for her life as these men kind of pile into her as a woman living alone, even though she has these powers. But she's acting in her own, acting in defense rather than kind of acting to first destroy and then seduce, kind of as she is in the epic poem. It's an interesting use of it does a kind of more feminist reading of this character.
It's fascinating to me too that a lot of these classic characters like Cersei or like Morgan Le Fay have become tied into being comic book. They're adapted as a version in comic books like Marvel and DC as well, which I always found fascinating because Cersei I think is in DC and then Morgan Le Fay is in Marvel. So it's reading these classics is what can we do to make them interpret them in a different way
because they're archetypes, right? And so being archetypes and being archetypes that are well known in popular culture, they can be shorthand to have a different or interesting take in the character. But also, if somebody says, "Oh yeah, Merlin over there," you know what that means, right? You know, it's like it's the same sort of thing. And I think that the scene where she's turning them into pigs and the flesh is it's very Cronenberg-esque almost. I was like, oh man, this is going wild.
This is the most body horror that Nolan has ever gone. I think the Cyclops sequence had a little bit of it, and then the Cersei sequence is just goes full on. Cronenberg, fucking there's no. Nolan has never made something like that put something like that in a film before.
Yeah, which he actually said I think on this this press tour, he was saying that he actually thinks about now because of this movie, he's for the first time thought about delving into making a horror movie one day or something.
He should do a fucking body horror.
It's getting there. We're gonna get Christopher Nolan a horror movie.
Someone should email him. You should do a horror movie so his assistant can read him the email.
But honestly, he should, because he'll probably make the fucking greatest body horror film ever if he makes one.
Well, and I think he's maybe finding the things that he would that would, and then it's also sort of interesting that when you have a genre picture and you have someone that's not from that genre do a take on it, that can have some really cool results.
Yeah, what they do with it, it's
yeah, absolutely.
I was also thinking how far the Cersei scene has gone at this point, where even Spirited Away, it took that concept.
Sure, Spirited Away is 100% from that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And even people that are not big Odyssey fans seem to give it up for this scene. This scene rules. That's it's you can smell this scene.
One of the last well, I mean, probably not. I've probably seen her in other things since, but I just remember Samantha Morton playing Alpha at a time when Walking Dead was really running on fumes.
That's right.
Yeah,
And it kind of felt like, all right, well, let's see what's happening with it. It kind of stretched out the comics to a point where you're like, all right, this thing is kind of starting to move slowly. I remember her performance as Alpha electrified that series again.
I will give a hot take. I think those are the two best seasons of The Walking Dead, primarily because of them covering the Alpha and Whisperers thing.
Yeah,
I think 9 and 10 are the peak of that show.
Yeah, I don't.
No one knows that it is because only like 6 people watched the show.
I'm a huge fan of the comics, and I really wanted to see what they did with the Whisperers as like a character. And I remember finding out she had been cast, and I was like just her face is so interesting and expressive, and like.
And that's one of the most.
I think the show did the Whisperers storyline. It's one of the few things in the show that's done better than in the graphic novel.
I'd agree. I think they did a great job in it, and a lot of that's to do with her performance.
And Samantha Morton is definitely like a measurable part of why.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first thing I ever saw her in was Minority Report, right? And
yeah, I think for me too it was. Yeah, and I remember like Minority Report was a huge, like, super important movie for me too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Samantha Morton was a thing that, like, that was like one of the early instances for me of like an actor leaving a mark on me.
Yeah, we were like, wow, who's that? You know? Yeah, and so it's interesting to me that even I recognized her as like, oh yeah, her. Like she's in a bunch of stuff. Like having just seen like, I don't know, I would say like one of her like leader card performances like 2 days before. I was like, oh, you know, Leo pointing like,
yeah,
because there's like 55 people in this freaking picture, so it's like I'd forgotten that she was in it until they got there. I was like, oh yeah, she's in this.
She's one of those kind of rare talents that's kind of gone so far above, where I guess she ever expected to, but also just the other actresses kind of her generation that she's almost very selective about what she picks now. Because of that fact, it's like, if you're in something terrible and you make an appearance, it's like you almost mark, besmirch this what you've been in from here. So she's like incredibly selective about taking acting roles at this point.
Yeah, if Christopher Nolan's like, yo, be in my movie, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah.
Well, I think
the story I read that I love is like everyone basically summarily said yes to Nolan for the Odyssey, except Pattinson was like, "Can I read the script?" And Nolan was like, yeah, but dude,
and Cillian Murphy's like, I just want to watch one movie of yours for once, Chris. Please.
Like, dude, I'm Christopher Nolan, and he goes, okay, thanks, Christopher Nolan. Can I read the script?
I was in Twilight. Look at me.
Christopher Nolan's contacting him, and he's like, "It's Christopher Nolan. I need you to send me $5 so I can make the Odyssey." Be like, Cillian Murphy's here too. Hi, it's Cillian Murphy.
No, Cillian Murphy's here too. Hi, I am Deaf Destroy World.
Yeah.
All right. Let's clear this paragraph here.
All right. After killing a deer transformed from a man, killing of the sacred deer, Odysseus arranged to change his men back. Circe warns that to reach Ithaca, Odysseus must cross the ocean into Hades.
Okay, so cool. Of course, in the story, he hangs around for a lot longer. They shack up, yeah.
No sex, no.
He's like, will you return my men that you turned into pigs? And she's like, will you have sex with me? And he's like, I don't totally want to, but I will. If me and saving my men. I'll save your men. And he's like, well, for my men, I guess.
I'll make a sacrifice.
Oh, do you also have more of that food that I'm not supposed to be eating? She's like, yeah, I have lots of food. Well, I won't eat the meat, but I'll eat the vegan version of it.
Yeah, and that's that's fine to leave that out. It's not strictly necessary. When we get to Calypso, it's a little more like, all right.
I was watching Ulysses earlier because I was just, I was waiting for the show to come on. I didn't know whether I was going to even be on because the power was about to go out and stuff. So I was just kind of waiting to find out what was happening. And I was watching Ulysses, the Italian 1950s version of the Odyssey, and they went the completely opposite direction where, they kind of took out the Calypso character and just had it being Circe, and she's the same actress that plays Penelope, and she's like seducing him, and she's like, see, I look just like your wife, and he's like, Kirk Douglas is looking at her, and he's like, you're not my wife though. I need to make that clear.
It's funny. That's funny. So yeah, he's got to go into Hades. right? So that's the to reach at the
You're going to Hades. Worst game show ever. They're like one way trip to Hades.
Yeah.
Number 6, let's go. Okay. So Odysseus meets the shade of Tiresias, who predicts that by divine will, only Odysseus will return home. Odysseus defies this. Odysseus also encounters Sinon's shade, who reapproaches Odysseus for using him as a pawn and reveals Antinous' treachery. He was manipulated into taking Antinous' places in the Greek army.
Okay, so first of all, he got to Hades. So it's like because it starts with like, hey, you got to go to this place.
Where's the actual god Hades? Because Killian Murphy would have been a good cameo for that.
But the black sand beach of it all, and like the, like just the usage of physical location. I forget where they shot that, but like it's really good. Like it
just really represents like the like what you would picture it to look like.
Also, James Remar is now 2 for 2 for playing the most fucking random character in a Nolan movie possible, and like actually in the most random one scene character in a Nolan film, and
That's
like
right.
fucking like knocking his scene out of the park. Like he was incredible. He genuinely was incredible as because if you know like anything about Stimson, he nailed playing Stimson. Yeah. But then like this was just like he almost fucking like ran away with the film in, I don't even know if he has like a dozen lines of dialogue.
Probably not, but
like,
he's great.
Fucking like incredible performance. Like if they, this is the thing. Like if
great character design too.
If they gave like guest star Oscars, this would be like where
like just like featured.
The Judd Hirsch and the Fabelmans, kind of like that sort of just like barely in the movie, but
like net or as I say like a network acting
absolutely.
Nomination. Like that's like fucking what like honestly like, and I didn't realize it because he kind of the way that he like was using his voice, I was like, did Nolan get Bautista to do this or something? And then like I found out it was Remar afterwards. It's like and like genuinely like what a fucking like honestly masterclass performance from an actor who like does not get nearly the credit he deserves.
Yeah, I mean, like most people know him as like Dexter's dad.
and like 48 Hours and a couple of other things. Like, but he's never had like. I really think James Remar deserves a lot more respect than he's gotten as an actor. I think
his second movie was The Warriors, which is crazy. That's a crazy second movie. Where it's like, oh man, you're like an all-timer. But yeah, he's a dude that's been working, for that long. He's just a guy. He's like a guy that's very good at what he does, and like some people know how to deploy him and use him. And this is a great example of that. Like that character design is great. Like what he's saying is great. The presence of it is great. The fact that it's like it very much feels like they're between worlds in the whole conversation and the back and forth. I mean that has an opportunity to go south really quick.
Also, dude, like all-time great. Example of recontextualizing a scene for a trailer, like the shot of Odysseus like yelling "go" and then running. You think he's leading that army, but he's actually, when you watch the film, he's being chased by the army of the dead. That was really cool because that was not what I was expecting that scene to be when it showed up in the trailer. I thought that was like them like attacking Troy.
They're like going, they're gonna go get him, and it's like no, they're running for their lives from the
or
the angry dead.
In Nolan's parlance. So what was I doing? Oh, I'm chasing this guy.
Yeah, that's right. All the way back to Memento. Yeah. Oh wait, no, he's chasing me. That movie does rock.
There is a very famous like I feel like in a lot of the versions of the Odyssey, it's always his memory is wiped clean, and it's interesting to see like Christopher Nolan doing his own it's not like it's a much more subtle version than like the Memento thing, obviously. Where
you don't see him tripping, you don't see him, you don't get the like.
He won't stop eating the goddamn lotus, and even
now I want to see the version of the Odyssey that starts at the end and it's the scenes in reverse and it's intercut with everything up until the lotus flower playing forward. How much should Memento the Odyssey and the midpoint / ending.
Like, it's just
the first time he eats the lotus flower is the end of the movie.
The mementoification of the Odyssey.
There's like one point in this where even Calypso seems like she got tired of Odysseus hanging around, and she's like, "Dude, stop!" She doesn't say "dude," but she's like, "Stop eating the lotus." And he's like, "But I love eating the lotus." She's like, "Stop it! Stop eating the lotus."
Good thing if he reincarnated into a lotus flower.
We're not even to Calypso yet. We're still Agamemnon, like breaking it down. So let's get back to it.
So lastly, Agamemnon's shade reveals that his wife, Clytemnestra, murdered him upon his return as revenge for sacrificing their daughters Iphigenia to Artemis for fair seas.
Which was his Chekhov's sacrifice, because we see that really early on.
Yeah.
But it's like also that's canonically that is what happened. And both characters, the half sister of Helen of Troy, of course, as she is, but like they're both played by Lupita. So, and I think it's interesting we never see his face even when he gets got.
Yeah.
But it's like that whole thing of like, hey, watch out, this is my homecoming. Like it's sort of like
he also has like I would call it like Hellenistic hair. Like there's the point between like Turkey, Greece, like the Mediterranean. He has a very Mediterranean curl to his hair that I think is kind of fast. Like it takes you to see those like pieces of armor, like coins, where you have like someone like Alexander the Great on the coin, and it's like he has those same kinds of curls.
By the way, I think John Bernthal's good in this.
He's fucking amazing in this.
He's really good. Like, it is one of those things where it's like, I like him as the Punisher, but a lot of times it's like,
he works for Tom Holland again, so that's great.
I mean, I think for me, like most of the actors in this movie, in fact, I don't know. I'm trying to think who doesn't. I think pretty much everyone in this movie is like doing career best work, and Bernthal is like the bear is the only thing that I would put up against.
Oh yeah, he's very good in the bear. True. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because it's like in a few weeks or whatever we're gonna see Zendaya and Tom Holland, John Bernthal together again.
Oh right.
I can only imagine all the other boxes. Like I went to see Spider-Man, but I think I accidentally stepped into the Odyssey instead.
Think I'm in the wrong theater. So I think it's an absolute decision to so we can answer this instead of what I was going to say. That's fine. Is the Dark Knight level good or just Tenet good? I don't know. I think it's
better than
level good.
Both.
Yeah.
I would actually say that the Dark Knight and Tenet are about on equal footing for me. They're both great, but this is a masterpiece.
I mean, that's also kind of what we do in the final thoughts. But Helen of Troy, again, it's trade routes instead of the face that launched 1,000 ships, right? So the sort of downplaying of like Helen of Troy, and then you get like, oh, it's only 500 now, because she's
because her face is fucked up.
That's a choice. I didn't love it. I think there could have been. I didn't love it because it was just like she's just at the table with like a bunch of other dudes. Like it's sort of like I feel like that it's Helen of Troy. We should have like some kind of like lead up of some kind of like, oh man, like who's that?
Yeah.
Like we should have like some kind of prestige for it. Like it's like Jane Russell in Gentlemen's Prefer Blondes gets more of a build up than Helen of Troy does, and she's like considered the second tier behind Marilyn. And so that kind of I thought that was a missed opportunity, but it's Nolan. It's not really his deal, right? That's not his thing. He's not, like,
I mean, I think that
what's he gonna do? Pull a Sophia Coppola and like show her like in a gauzy, of course.
Well, he chose to take it in a different direction, and because there's no like the tension isn't there between between the couple. I guess the end of this war in the Odyssey, like they're kind of just there, but he chose to kind of show the aftermath of this entire thing, where it's like she was used as the pretext to start this entire war that went on for 10 years, and she's kind of the mythical thing behind it, and then Agamemnon's really trying to get to the trade routes, and she's kind of
it's got a more tactile capitalistic concern, sure, but like Lupita Nyong'o rocks, and I feel like she was underutilized.
I agree. I'm just saying like it's interesting.
No, I get it. I didn't understand it. I understood why he did it. It's not a decision I particularly agreed with because
I think you're right. I think you're right that
I went the other way. Instead of it being overemphasized, it's like too understated and almost kind of a letdown.
And it's kind of he's given a pause where it's like, oh, I guess maybe 500 ships. It's like it's a kind of an unnecessarily cruel showcasing of like
we need to do that. So then it's nice that her as that her as her half sister character, gets to like take down the Darth Vader of the Odyssey cinematic universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which, at first, when you see like just, he sacrificed his daughter for fair winds, it's like it barely gets a mention. And then later, it's like, okay, I'm glad that had some kind of payoff, and it's just not just like, he threw his daughter over the cliff, like like John Leguizamo throws that one puppy over the cliff at that one point.
I know, which is a real thing that they did back then, but also like
almost comically in this, and it's like, come on,
we probably didn't need that. Probably didn't need it, even though it was historically accurate. I mean, there's so many things that's like it would have been historically accurate in the film that he didn't include, where it's like, I'm glad you didn't. It's like you could have done without that.
But also testament to like both the script and just like Leguizamo's performance. Like he's introduced throwing a puppy off a cliff, and yet by the end of the film, you're like rooting for Eumaeus.
You know what, man? That's a good point. I never thought about that. That's a good point.
It's something with this weird comedic timing where it's like, me and your dad, we had some laughs back in the day, and then you said a puppy goes.
Let me chuck these puppies off the cliff. Yeah, that's great.
That alone justifies the supporting actor.
It was like, what if we didn't kill this dog? He's like, why? Your boy want a dog? He's like,
we can go on the journey.
All right, so let's get back to it. Goes to Odysseus' fallen army, right? They're chasing him.
Yeah. So, and following Tyrus' guidance, Odysseus, Eurylacus, and various crewmen survive encounters with Charlize, Scylla, and the Sirens on Renaxia. Odysseus warns his men.
So hold on, real quick. So those characters, that's the whirlpool and the tentacles. Right? That's what that is.
Whirlpool and Charybdis is the six. Is it six tentacled?
The many, It's like
famous literary saying between Scylla and Charybdis, which until rereading this, I was like, oh yeah, that's where that's from.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and he describes it purposely kind of vaguely, so it was like, I was going to depict that, right? Like, so that was that goes back to what I was saying earlier about, like, wow, God, not bad, like pretty good, because it is supposed to be this unknowable. Like, think about like you're just some dudes on a boat, they're like, I don't know, and it's like, oh my God, like what's happening? Like, and there's this thing that's like so big, it's beyond your comprehension. Some of you can't see it, some of you can't put in the parlance of the vernacular, some of you would hunt or be hunted by, so on and so on. I think all that works. The Sirens, I am annoyed at the plot writer for just blasting past that, because there's something that happened with the Sirens I think is more interesting than most of their popular depictions, which is to say, it's not like, oh man, I'm going to swim out there and bang all of them. It's not like that. When he's describing, there's that, it's the much beamed Matt Damon on the mast, like, but I forget the exact quote, but it's I mean, like, it's.
Oh, I think I have it written down. Let me try.
Okay, good. I don't want to try to malapropize it because I'm not going to do a very good job. But the idea being that like it's not like just like, hey, we're horned up and we're going to go bang these sea broads. Like it's like something far deeper and kind of harrowing, and which kind of fits the picture. And I thought that was a really cool depiction of that. And, as far as how the narrative works, they've been putting the wax in their ears and what have you, and then like the one guy's like, well, I got to check this out. And then like immediately, like, he's gone. I think the Sirens are very well depicted here.
The part that I wrote down is the Siren song is like an itch you just can't scratch. But he was saying also, he has like a longer thing where he's like, it's everything you ever wanted, everything you ever wish you wanted, but wish you didn't, or something like,
all the things you wanted to be, and then all the things that you wished you never wished for.
Yeah. That's it.
I see. I wasn't going to even try to do that from memory, so well done. By the way, we're playing the Siren song in Eureka, California next month, which is hilarious to me that we're doing this. All right. So,
what do you guys think of? There's the one guy that goes, "Oh, I want to hear the Siren song." He rips the because he sees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will Young Lee's character. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's always one. Not me. I'm built different.
Idiot.
Okay. Wouldn't go down like that if I was there.
I just saw Hamish Patel was talking about them filming that sequence. Like Will Young Lee full on, like he just leapt out of the boat into the fucking Mediterranean Sea.
Oh,
like,
wow.
6 times shooting that, like in the armor and everything. Like that's real. That's not. There's no like. It's no water tank. There's no like. You know.
Yeah.
He hasn't got like safety harm. He literally just like they filmed him leaping off of that boat, like leaping over the edge in armor, and like he like did it over and over again. Like it all. I mean, I realize that they're not wearing like full metal plated armor. Like they've got like
it's
stuff, but like that shit's heavy, man. Like
especially when it gets wet. Yeah.
Will Young Lee could have fucking drowned doing that, and he was just
method
like
acting, take it too far.
Like, no, I'm just gonna. I don't need fucking ropes and shit. Fuck that. We don't have time. We're losing sunlight. I'm just gonna jump out of the boat, and
it also gives you Hamish Patel and the entire movie. They have this relationship that's deteriorating. Where in the beginning, when everything's going well, and they land on the Cyclops Island, he's like, "You lucky bastard" to Odysseus, and then as things happen more and more, he's the antagonist on the ship. In all of the flashbacks between him and Odysseus, where he's obviously just going, "You're making bad decisions, and we want whatever," like the opposite of everything. Pretty much, Odysseus says he's defying the gods, and Hamish Patel's like, "No, you can't do that. We're gonna make this other set of choices." Like he's the person that's most likely to do a mutiny. And there's the silence while you're listening to the siren song. They're not really showing you what the siren song is, but you're watching Matt Damon respond to it, and then you see the guy jump out of the ship and swim to shore, and obviously crash on the rock. Like you're watching his face through a lot of it, and a lot of what you're getting is his face, and this just expression on his face is like kind of both bewilderment and annoyance, and kind of just like this shock thing where he's just watching Matt Damon respond to this and torture himself.
And I think it's such a smart move to not have the siren song be like clearly heard and what have you. Like
I'm of the opinion that you don't hear it at all. I don't.
Yeah, you hear kind of like aspects of it maybe, but like
I think all of that. I think everything that you hear is non-diegetic. I think the intent of that scene is you hear 0% of the siren song.
But great sound design is what I'm saying.
Oh,
right? Subtractive sound design.
Really cool.
Thank you for the subs on Twitch, by the way.
Hey, that's awesome. Great.
Got three in a row right here. Look at this.
No, one, 2, 3.
Oh, go.
10,
it's like we got our own siren song going right here, right? They can't keep away from us.
I like the combination. Speaking of the sound design between like the ancient Greek kind of instruments and the synthesizer.
Yeah,
kind of what they use for
it's good. All right, Kristina. Sorry, I feel like the plot summary person did the sirens dirty. Hilarious.
Yeah. Also, too, it'd be nice to not have to go
actually
5 minutes after every sentence. That's
Forrest. I just have to say when I was watching the movie actually like in the theater and the synthesizers came in for the first time, I had flashbacks to you with the score for All Quiet on the Western.
Oh yeah.
Remember your little you did in that?
I had a literal thought in my head be like,
that's right.
Oh, I don't know if Forrest is gonna like this.
I liked it because it wasn't overplayed, right? Like it wasn't
the award-winning musical cue, if I remember correctly. Right?
Yeah. That was the least number of notes needed to win an original.
Even the Brutalist theme has more. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're done with the sirens, Kristina. Please continue.
Okay, thank God. Can I please finish this entire paragraph?
Thank the gods, please. There's multiple ones.
Okay. Despite this, the starving men slaughter the cattle. When they try to escape the island, Poseidon storms sink the ship, killing all but Odysseus. He washes ashore on Ogygia? Where the nymph, infatuated with him, drugs him with an amnesia-inducing lotus flower.
Okay, so the cattle of the sun god. By the way, that's Sicily. The sun god's island. That's actually Sicily.
No.
Canonically. So yeah, you can have anything you want on it.
They went after the cattle. And na, 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 na,
yeah. Did you think if you ate quietly that the mob wouldn't see?
I know they made that little subterranean barbecue pit. I'm like, what do you think you're doing here?
You come here on the day of my daughter's wedding and eat my cattle. You think
of Damon like crying to the siren song are great, but the thing I've loved the most is the cacophony of different memes people have had to express Odysseus's feelings on seeing them in the barbecue pit.
Yeah,
like when like the meme of the stressed out Ben Affleck with the cigarette. Like that's like Odysseus when he finds out that they cooked the sun god's cattle.
Secret barbecue. They didn't even invite him.
The gods like kind of
He's like, I told you what was gonna happen. Why did you do this? You know.
Well, so much of this is like, you know, in Hades, he's told like, all right, well, you could either like, obviously you're gonna lose a bunch of people going through Scylla and Charybdis, and you have to have your men make the decision themselves to go past Scylla as the choice, and they're not going to want to if you're like, hey, on this side there's a giant whirlpool, on this side there's a giant monster in the rocks. But if you try to save everybody, everyone is going to die.
Yeah.
The next point, and everyone's going to die, is if you eat the sun god's cattle, everyone's going to die. So he's finally like, finally breaks out, and he's like, you guys want to listen to the gods? All right, well, the gods told me if you eat this cattle, everyone's going to die. And then the wind stops and like pulls them into the sun god's island.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, everyone dies except for Odysseus. He washes ashore on a guy, and Calypso, who has a very fetching, like what, Bed Bath and Beyond rap? Like what is that rap that she has in this movie? I was like, that
Who cares?
I mean, like Charlize Theron, it's fine. Whatever she does is fine by me. I'm just saying, I don't know where she got that rap from in ancient Greece.
Only she would have turned clear for the MCU, but whatever.
Those spiders must have been working overtime. That's all I got to say about it. Yeah. So sees the drugs him with the amnesia-inducing lotus flowers. So 7 years later, Calypso feels pity for Odysseus.
7 years later.
Calypso feels pity for Odysseus' longing for his family and aids him in remembering his past. She also aids him just like stop downing those lotus flowers like for every 5 minutes.
I was the one that gave you the first lotus flower, but it wasn't supposed to be like someone who gives you marijuana for the first time. You're going to get hooked.
Cheech and Chong it there, bro. Yeah. She then instructs Odysseus to make a makeshift raft and give himself to the sea, facing Poseidon's punishment. Okay, so quick sidebar here. In the book, it goes down a bit different, right? I mean, there's definitely a okay. What do you think is going on in these 7 years? Like, what exactly do you think is happening?
You're raping him this whole time.
No, I mean it's a consensual thing, but it's like there's a lot of there's a lot of story that's dropped. Calypso like bears 2 children from him. You know, like it's one of those things. I get where it's it muddies up the narrative, right?
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things where it's like, all right, so she's just like hanging out alone on this island, and then now there's this dude here, and he really likes the lotus flower. Okay. So that said, all that works well. You get the momentification of Odysseus, and so he builds this boat, right, and like he gives himself to the sea. Now this is a nice moment, I think, where he's like he's like laying back and just like whatever happens. And then Athena, who's waiting for a bus, is like sitting on the rock and tells like, "Hey, you're home, dummy. Like, welcome," which is fine. Like that all works well. That's is in line with the story that he does miraculously wash ashore in Ithaca. He learns from Eumaeus that suitors sent mercenaries posing as priests to assassinate his son and mentor at the temple. So we get that kind of awesome action scene. Mentor dies, but Odysseus rescues him and kills the assassins, calling himself Sinon. So he's takes on the name of the Elliot Page character as a tribute, because he's trying to come in not as like, hey everybody, I'm back, but to kind of get the lay of the land before he comes back, which is very smart. So he doesn't get done like Agamemnon gets done.
But also he's trying to kind of freak out Telemachus, the Robert Pattinson character, with the knowledge that Sinon is gonna.
Not yet, he isn't. He's not. We're not there yet. But yeah.
I know, but I'm saying that he has to give him that back, and he's told there in Hades that that's what's going to.
So hence the caution, and hence the disguising himself as like one of his men and whatnot. So that's like what that's all about. We're kind of glazing a little bit over that, but so Telemachus Telemachus guides Odysseus to the palace. After Odysseus' old dog, Argos, recognize him, Argos peacefully dies. I feel like there should have been more with the dog. We got a lot of build up with it. You know, that was it's like poor dog. And then that made me think of times in my life that had happened. And I was like, oh, but I don't think no one's ever, do you think no one has pets? I don't think he does. He doesn't seem to do like pets well.
I can't think of a time where he ever like referred to a dog or like a cat that he had. But I also feel like if no one has a pet, he has something weird. He has like a fucking iguana or something.
Yeah, like he don't like chairs on set. He doesn't have a cell phone. He doesn't use it.
Apparently, he has a golden lab named Charlie that he adopted.
A golden lab, a goofy goober lab.
A chocolate lab. He's a chocolate lab named Charlie who inspired that whole subplot on the Odyssey that the Argos like to focus on that. And apparently he adopted it after never having pets before. His kids went off to college and he adopted a
So he didn't come up with pets. Okay, so that all right. That's kind of making it make more sense. I did like that arc. You know, there's we've seen it so many times now, but it's the classic, like waiting until your master comes back, before moving on. And
there's been whole movies that
right, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and it works, but it's a little bit. I was a little underwhelmed by that part, but I was rooting. I was like, hold on, and then earlier on, I'll put him on the dung heap. I was like, you dick, you're gonna get yours though.
Yeah.
Telemachus recognizes Odysseus as his father during a tense feast. Odysseus shows Antonius he knows that he betrayed Sinon. We blasted past this in the beginning. So this is because it was like a draft, right? Like you get these little things, and let's send this kid instead of me because I don't want to do this. And like, oh yeah, well look, and then Odysseus is kind of like helping him save face a little bit, like, oh well, you can watch over everything while I'm gone. And of course he takes that in the most like take my place, which is not at all what he was saying. It was just like,
take
his
my wife,
cope.
please.
Right, exactly. Like taking that joke literally. But I feel like the loss that's mentioned fairly early on. We see that with the Elliot Page character. We also have that great line of it was like was it I'll tell them everything about you. I was like, feel free to exaggerate a little bit. What's it? I can't remember what it is. It's a great line, though.
Feel free to add a few things.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. That's awesome. All right, so that's set. We're just getting set up here. So
Elliot Page also does that amazing thing with his voice, where his voice becomes like a lot more raspy and like kind of fascinating in Hades, where he's like many people who fought with you have appeared on this shore, and he does like a cool thing with his voice that.
Yeah, so he's there as a beggar, right? So he and the rationale. None of this in the summary, by the way. The rationale is that you can get a lot of the measure of a man by how he treats those that are of lower station.
Yeah.
Than them. Sorry, and like you certainly do.
Strangers to be a god.
Right, and that goes back to Zeus's law, et cetera, et cetera. Antonius thrashes Odysseus before Penelope intervenes. After the meal, still disguised, he confesses to Penelope his guilt for violating Zeus's law, killing innocent Trojans and desecrating Athena's statue after killing her priestess. Okay, so this works in the original story. It's the part that even as a kid, I'm like, really? You don't recognize that that's your guy? Like, even if like it's been that long, like he's telling you all these like things. It's like, okay,
Dad, not father.
but I like the way that it's played. Anne Hathaway, lovely and awesome in this. Like she does a great job, just top to bottom. And I no doubt in my mind she's a great actress. But like she does a really good job with that. That kind of it requires a lot of passive engagement because you're listening to one person talk and they're actively looking at each other and what have you. But I think it's done well.
Yeah. There's like a long-standing thing. I think in the book or in the poem it's more kind of spelled out, but like there's a long-standing thing where it's like the gods might just pretend to be somebody that you think you're missing your husband. Your husband's been at sea, and then you're a god because Zeus does this thing throughout Greek mythology in general, as you know, I'm sure. Like he becomes just various animals.
He'll just show up as like I'm just like a goat. over here.
And a woman's like, oh, what if you go? And then Zeus jumps out and like, well, just rape the woman. So there's like a danger to this thing where gods walk around pretending to be mortal men, and like sometimes it's mortal men that you're missing who might have disappeared at war, and you're like, this looks kind of like my husband, but how the hell should I?
Can I say that the only movie that I've ever seen kind of nail that? Clash of the Titans.
What about in Thor Ragnarok when Thor talks about how Loki disguised himself as a snake and then jumped out and stabbed him?
Oh yeah.
Return to do. Never mind.
All that works out. So Athena had assumed the priestess's form to punish him in visions. We get that. We're here. We're getting the sacking of Troy in flashback, right? We're talking about how. This is not the glorious thing that should be in song that it is, and then we get the, there was a villager that looked like Zendaya, and like that was Athena's form, headless statue.
It's a manifestation of like his guilt, his sin.
That's
kind
right.
of
And like this is the war is actually not that cool, everybody, like speech basically, but we get to see aspects of the sacking of Troy that we didn't see before, and these are the sacking parts of it. These are the not like honorable dudes doing battle with honor and distinction kind of way, but which by the way we did kind of blast past the we actually kind of blasted past the Trojan horse a little bit, frankly.
Yeah,
I like the thing. It's like, oh yeah, they're just pissing and shitting in there. That's just
and drowning. Like a bunch of them die before they even get out of the horse.
Yeah. That's where Christopher Nolan like really stands out in his filmmaking style, is these technical kind of things where it's like, thinking about what it must have been like to be inside of the horse, what you'd have to do to tell, Sinon that you're either not tell Sinon that that's what's happening and just be on the thing, how long you have to be in there, what you have to do when you're in there, drowning, not being able to eat for days on end, not being able to go to the bathroom anywhere but inside of it. Like there's just so much that we don't think about. Yeah, that we don't think about with the actual idea of the Trojan horse.
Kind of a flashback to a certain degree to Dunkirk too, with some of the more evocative scenes in Dunkirk that way, which I thought was very interesting and cool. But yeah, then when the Trojan horse is in, and we have that incredibly tense thing of they're trying to open the gates. There's only like however many of them that are in there, and they're all kind of like weakened and behind enemy lines, and like the doors are just taking forever to get open and forever to get open. Yeah. And you finally get them open. You get that great scene where you have Agamemnon just like lamping in the middle, and then everyone just like comes out to the left and right. It's like, all right,
yeah,
which famously, Troy, it makes sense when you actually when we actually learned the history of Troy, that it's been sacked and rebuilt like 10 times. Like, of course, each time you're like, okay, how the hell do we get the gates to be stronger? But it's famously like of the old ancient cities, it's the one with like the strongest gates. It's really hard to get into Troy itself. So it's like, of course, it would take like 10 years to go, why don't we just go into a horse, and then within a couple of days the battle is over because you've snuck in and attacked the city.
Yeah. All right. Mm-hmm. So he further reveals that the rumored attackers from the sea were the Greeks themselves and begs Penelope's forgiveness. Penelope then announces her readiness to remarry and instructs the suitors to come the following night. So,
I don't know how much the whole we were the sea people. I feel like that is a little bit kind of corny. I'm just like, I don't know. You could have done without that for
completely
me.
Completely unnecessary. And I was like, all right, whatever. You didn't need that, but sure.
We were the sea people. How you wouldn't have guessed that.
All right, Forrest, you want to take it home?
Yeah. Penelope declares she will marry whoever can string Odysseus' bow and shoot an arrow through a row of axe heads. The suitors all fail, only for Odysseus to meet the challenge, revealing his identity.
I mean, that whole thing about he's the only one that can string the bow, that's introduced early on. That's a great party trick, by the way, too. Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
It has his finger. It's an early version of what the iPhone does now, where you have to do the fingerprint.
You have to get the fingerprint on it? Yeah.
There you go.
So we get this battle, right? This is like, one of the more badass battles. He goes full John Wick, full ballerina.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All eruption battle. Odysseus slaying the challenging suitors. Melantho's brother, attempts to arm the men through a hole in the ceiling, only for Telemachus to confront and kill him.
That's
this has been
hilarious.
kind of a little more like I don't know, like everywhere you go online, people are kind of making fun of the Robert Pattinson. Get the bow, get the spear,
the swords, the shields,
Get the bazooka, get the bazooka.
Yeah, which is well earned. Well earned because you've kind of been told, like, you kind of find out over the course of the movie, like, he's like a physical coward. And Tinois is like the one guy. He goes around speaking a big game and telling everyone that will listen. I almost went to Troy, but then Odysseus told me to stay behind, and you get the real version of it.
I would have been in the Trojan horse if I didn't blow up my knee.
Yeah.
I would have done, but
yeah, exactly.
He's like, actually, Odysseus was the one. Odysseus said, "Stay behind," and then you get the great John Leguizamo thing where he's like, he knows about struggling fathers that lose their sons in war. Yeah, but he knows about the struggling thing that fathers lose their sons in war, and he was trying to give the father an out, but this guy's taken the out and turned it into like this lifelong. Oh, I could have been there myself, but he told me I can't go. So
yeah, he's dining out in the story.
My one thing with the battle is like the suitors gradually like submitting and like not fighting and like ceding the claim to Odysseus. I don't think enough of them did that. Like, I think way too many of the suitors tried to kill Odysseus because like at the very beginning, like if I'm one of the suitors, right, there's like 100 of them, and I see this like old man immediately take on like 40 of us and fucking kill them all.
You're like your odds.
I'm not like if out of the 100 suitors, like 80 of them fight Odysseus, I think the thing should have been reversed. I think like 80 of them should have fucking surrendered, and like 20 of them should have fought.
Yeah. Well, the actual play, none of them survive, and then he has Telemachus go upstairs and kill all the servants too. That
in the poem,
kill. So it's a complete bloodbath because he doesn't want anyone to tell everyone, hey, Odysseus killed a lot of us.
Yeah. Well, and it can't be Telemachus because then that's fraught in a different way, right? Where it's like somehow it's like it's okay if Odysseus does it, but it's like not good if the son does it.
Yeah, it can't be. It can't. Yeah, Telemachus can't shed the blood of any of the suitors.
That's right.
Which I thought was interesting. I also the only part, like if I were to tweak one little part of the movie, I think there's a little bit too much like reverse shot of like Telemachus's fight with Melanthius. Upstairs, like I think that I think that kind of it ended up being kind of a little like the same kind of back and forth action repeated a couple times too many.
And that guy
that feels like such a fucking minor thing. Like I'm not gonna dock points from the movie.
That guy Logan Marshall Green.
Yeah.
He was he started an Upgrade as not Tom Hardy. In that movie.
I never saw Upgrade.
It's a Tom Hardy type. It was fine.
A lot of people, they think like a lot of people don't like it. I just never got around to watching it, and I like Logan Marshall Green. So
yeah, I mean it's a non-IP futuristic sci-fi revenge fantasy, right? But it's like has all the setup of like a full moon affair. It's like basically RoboCop plus Death Wish and The Crow. And if you thought that was a cool sentence, then like that's for you.
I think it's so fucking funny that like this movie is so stacked that when you look at like, the cast section in this article, like you get the bullet point list of the cast members, and then like halfway in a paragraph you have Mia Goth portrays.
I'm forgetting she was in it. Yeah,
Mia fucking Goth is in the movie, and it's a footnote.
Yeah, exactly.
They only have her at like 90% of the time she's making out with Robert Pattinson.
It's true. Like, she's not the most
nice work if you can get it, I guess. Right? Yeah.
Like how much of a quote unquote A-lister each person in the cast is. Like Mia Goth is one of the most famous people in this movie.
Yeah, she's a big name.
I would argue, and her casting is just like a footnote.
You go be making out with Robert Pattinson. Go make out with him right
now. So we do need to finish this plot, very much so, and we're almost there. We got to talk about Robert Pattinson's performance, though.
Oh my god,
he's great, right?
I remember when it was announced that he was cast as Cole, and my friends were like, "Cedric Diggory, he can't do this. He's gonna go nowhere after this."
I mean, I feel like he's done like the modern day Brad Pitt thing, where he's just like he does all the freaky freak character actor stuff, and he's great at it, and he's almost bored if he does leading man stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like he's good at both, but like credit where credit's due. Like he could have just been, a face, and like could have just done that.
I hope so.
Good time. I guess he plays like kind of a villainous role, but like for the most part, he's
Devil all the time with Tom Holland.
Yeah, Devil all the time is the only other performance of his that I think is even remotely like the performance in the Odyssey.
Yeah, where he's playing he's playing full blown heel. Like there's nothing even redeeming about the quality of this character.
Well, what did he say? He was took inspiration from Casino with James Woods' character in Casino.
Yeah.
That rules. I'm
James
there for
Woods,
that.
You know a lot about that guy now.
Well, because that character's a total POS as well. It's like, oh, okay, that's makes sense. Like it's like it's a real a-hole.
Man, I hope this shit. Actually, no. You know what? I forgot that he's doing the Chris. He's gonna get nominated for the Chris Hansen movie. I was gonna say I hope this finally gets Pattinson's first Oscar nod, but
more biopics.
Man, what a fucking villain! Like this is like.
He's a great and I feel like Robert Pattinson is like he understood the assignment, and he's going like full on old school, like Malcolm McDowell style, hamming it up, but like in a good way. We're
Well, he's mean mugging at different scenes. He's mean mugging, and he does the thing where it's like I've seen people look like this in real life. Like people will be really drunk or like really kind of messed up, and they have this blurred eye thing where you can tell like it's not that person's. Like the light is gone behind their eyes, pretty much. And he does that thing on multiple occasions when he's looking at either Odysseus or he's looking at when Odysseus comes in and is pretending to be Sinon, or like there's multiple times in this where he has this blurry eye expression where he's able to make the light just leave his eyes.
Yeah, it's dude's got skills, and it should be recognized. Like he's quite good at this. Like I mean, he's generally speaking quite good. Like even Mickey 17, everyone hated that movie. I thought he was great in it. I thought it was a good movie.
Oh yeah, I'm not a big. I'm mixed on Mickey 17, but he was fucking amazing in Mickey 17. Like he was
different. I feel like if we picked a different voice, people might have liked Mickey 17 more. He did that voice that's like this the whole movie.
Yeah, well, it fit the character. Let's take it home on the plot so we can move on to the show.
Hold on, I've lost my place. I know where I am.
We're up to the fight.
No,
Use the bazooka.
I've lost it on the actual Wikipedia page. I was looking at
Use the crane kick.
As the remaining suitors surrender, and they do the surrender with the tapping the stick, which I like.
Yeah.
Odysseus kills Antinous. Odysseus teaches throne to Telemachus and leaves Ithaca with Penelope to seek peace in exile, sailing west to honor his dead soldiers. The pair expect civilization's renewal and muse that time will forget Odysseus' mistakes. I do not like the Our Age of Bronze is over. I thought that was
I was like, okay, what?
You're gonna say now?
we didn't need to do that. Like that was like
they're going to
didn't ruin it for me. Anything, but I was like, they're
going to call this the Bronze Age, and then they're going to say Greek civilization. There's another line where Telemachus is like, we were the greatest civilization on earth. We're like, come on, man, you don't know that. You don't know that.
At the time, and it does a thing where you see them walking, but you don't see Matt Damon. So you're like, oh, did he die? And then like it's there he is. He's
like this will have to continue on without me. And then you see Anne Hathaway will be like, no, and he's like, because I'll be in exile with you.
That's fake out. I need a rewatch to really like. I think I'm okay with it, but it was kind of like, man. Because I read the Odyssey when I was a kid. I think it's just out of frame, but I bought a new copy of it.
Oh, nice.
Right.
I didn't get a chance to reread it, but like I know that he doesn't die. So it was like I was like, no, what are you doing, man?
But then there's also like a lot of people they haven't read it, or like they read the Cliff's Notes version of it or something. Like it's like not like as widely known. I mean, it's to the point also that when Tolkien did it in Lord of the Rings. You know, there's like, how's it end? I don't know. They freaking sail off to the other land. You know, like,
Yeah.
great. Where'd you get that from?
That guy, not Homer. That's for sure.
Well, and to do another,
Tolkien also took Tolkien took the eagles from the Odyssey, where on multiple occasions Zeus and different gods make themselves into eagles and swoop down, and they're like, "We're reading the signs." Those are the same eagles thing that Tolkien does multiple times in Lord of the Rings.
I also I you know, the other Nolan parallel, the final one that came to me was like, you know, it's death by exile, and then it's like, and then like I was half expecting like he and Anne Hathaway sail off, and then they end up at a nice little restaurant in whatever island they
Murphy did to come out of nowhere.
It's like it's death by exile, and then it cuts, and then you see Matt Damon in a Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah,
he's like, why didn't I just stay here the whole time? I love it here. What do you guys think of the Trojan horse popcorn bucket? It was. I saw when I saw the Regal. It was a $70 popcorn bucket. I was like, you guys are out of your goddamn minds.
It's a very impractical and like actually cumbersome to use popcorn bucket. Like,
yeah.
I was more interested in. I didn't get either one, but like the IMAX camera one was more interesting to me because it like actually seemed like a more, at least as a popcorn bucket, like more fun.
Yeah, but no, really.
Pattinson's good as hell. Yeah, such a dick. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of talk for a long time. Like, oh, he can't act. He's just like a handsome guy, and it's like
Twilight.
Which I believe I've recounted on here. I used to subscribe to as like a teenager. I was like, this guy fucking sucks. Fucking Twilight.
Exactly.
And then literally 10
it's
minutes into good
Twilight as like a franchise that kind of got plastered on, which makes sense why Robert Pattinson has chosen the roles he has since then, because I'm sure he knows full well that.
Happy too. Like it'll still.
I'll never
follow
forget
them the rest of their
being
lives.
on my couch 10 minutes into Good Time, pausing the movie, going on Facebook and typing, I feel crazy writing this. I think Robert Pattinson might be one of the greatest actors of all time. And then I've been proven right, and also I've proven my younger self wrong. Like every subsequent time I watch this guy on screen, I'm just fucking blown away by him.
Well, I mean, the Lighthouse is just the entire movie. Obviously, it's just him and Willem Dafoe.
Yeah,
like there's
and
nothing.
those are again, I would put those up. Those are two, like I would hold those up as two of the absolute best performances in like fucking movie history.
Yeah, I mean, dude's got the goods. Like, and again, I don't like biopics, but I'm sure that Chris Hansen one's going to do very well. I'm sure he's good in it. You know, we'll see.
Oh, and I think he's finally going to get the nomination that he's been long.
I also just don't like Chris Hansen.
Yeah, but it's an you know, when you look at like the beyond like To Catch a Predator itself, like Chris Hansen has had an interesting life.
Yeah, but there's
a lot of tragedy there.
A lot of his career is like, I'm gonna bring in the dirtbags. It's like, bro, you are the dirtbags. Like,
all right, of course, Letterboxd is a social media site for film lovers talk at, with, and to each other about the films they love, maybe the films that they didn't love, maybe the films that they suggested that Odysseus buy an atlas. And of course, everybody gets to chime and opine about the movies that they love. It's a bottom-up democracy, not Siskel's and Eberts of the world. And of course, this is best expressed succinctly for the purpose of this bit, where weekly I collect the favorite reviews for Forrest and the panel to respond to as we put them on screen. That's what this bit is. These are the Letterboxd one-liners for the Odyssey. Let's roll them. Agamemnon was at the front of the gates of Troy, moving like Darth Vader.
He's like, all right, guys, I'm going to stand in front of the gates, and then you guys are going to open the gates. And when I walk in, everyone goes, ah! And they're like, all right, bet, you got this.
I did a good job reading like him. Anyway.
I imagine like Odysseus and Menelaus standing there, and they're like, they just open the gate, and then like they expect them to charge in instantly, and like for 10 seconds while the Trojans are rushing them, and they're like, no, please, Agamemnon, don't all come in at once.
Well, you have to stand there because you've been trying to do this for 10 years. It's like you got to stand there for 1 minute and be like, whoa.
Yeah, you got to soak in the
Finally.
moment.
You have to. There's a whole nother like 6-hour movie that's just them trying to get into the gates in various ways and failing at it.
Yeah.
For 10 years. You've given away the prime of your life to this. I like the idea that somebody's like to Christina's point. I like the idea that somebody's like, we're never gonna get in here. And Agamemnon is like, I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Yeah.
Exactly. If I were one of the guys inside the Trojan horse, I'd be giggling and kicking my feet so hard. Like, there's no way this is actually going to work, you guys.
I just love how the Trojan horse is constantly referenced in so many different ways of like trying to actually like sneak in or whatever, you know.
Well, that one gets the most attention, but then even between Scylla and Charybdis, it's something that gets referenced constantly and like
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that was like the ancient version of like Between a Rock and a Hard Place, which I like between Scylla and Charybdis more than I like Between a Rock and a Hard Place. They're gonna.
Well, even when you think about computer viruses, Trojans, that's what they're
We're
named
Trojans,
after.
so they can see what you're doing and monitor. Yep.
It's not named after the condoms, guys.
Also, man, the fucking American dialect. Like, the American dialect in general, like I love the fact that like at one point Odysseus just goes, "We've been on this fucking beach for 10 years," and then and then someone, I can't remember if it's Penelope, someone tells like one of the suitors or something to fuck off, and it's like, wow, this is really true to the timbre that Homer wrote this in.
Oh yeah, it's an adaptation.
Yeah, to Logan Roy, fuck off.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Odysseus. You definitely would have loved Google Maps.
Yeah.
Dude, it's that version of it's the Google Maps version of the Odyssey that lasts like half an hour. He's like, okay, this is the fastest route. Let's go.
How short this movie would have been had they had one? Okay, you know what? With the American accents, they could have done just a modern version of this.
My friend did the Odyssey from Ithaca to Troy like last week because he lives in upstate New York. So
those cities, by the way, named within 3 years of each other for that reason. I found that out while doing research for this. One thing though that like doesn't even get that we didn't even touch on, like when he has this crisis of what we did is messed up and everything, he becomes so disgusted with Agamemnon that the reason that like the entire Odyssey takes place is he chooses to go a different way because he's like, I don't even want to be going the same way as Agamemnon at this point. Like,
don't be in this.
So their fleet goes a separate way. It goes like, oh, we'll make it, and then apparently and then instantly gets lost. But like, it's his disgust at even like even seeing Agamemnon's safety face again that.
He definitely had avoid tolls on, too. So that was my joke from earlier. Gonna reuse it because it's relevant.
Yeah.
Man did every side quest.
Amen. Yeah. The OG. Who did?
Exactly.
All right, on this side there's a whirlpool. On this side there's a sea monster, and he's like, "There's no option C. There's no option C."
Yeah.
When taking the scenic route goes horrifically wrong.
Guys, don't worry. We're just taking the scenic route. Oh, he's got this. We're just taking
run to the ship.
Mr. Odysseus, are we still taking the scenic route? Does this look fucking scenic to you?
Ooh, what a hard life. He has to pick between Anne Hathaway and Charlize Theron. Shut up.
Oh, my steak.
Oh, God damn it, dude. Buttery. Your life must be so hard. You get to go to Cyclops and you almost drown. What's next?
You had to choose between Anne Hathaway and Charlize Theron is what he did. He's a brave warrior, and in this house, Odysseus is a hero. End of story. I do like the idea that he went to like Lotus Rehab.
Made me go to Lotus Rehab, and I said, "Yes, please. I've been doing this for 7 years. Help!"
I'd like to see my child and wife again. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at Antinous. It's like he was abusive to the staff.
Well done. Good yes and. Good yes and. Do not ever, ever travel anywhere with Matt Damon.
Oh yeah, that's definitely it's just why does he do this? It's like those your trademark on like IMDb, what you're most known for.
Yeah.
I wonder what Matt Damon is probably something about traveling and it always ends in disaster somehow.
Yeah, I like the idea that he goes to like direct a movie one day and he's like, "Come on, we'll travel there together." And like, buddy, we'll travel there separately.
Yeah.
If you're going on a train, I'm gonna go in the car.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Friendly reminder to please add spoiler tags for the folks who have been meaning to check out the Odyssey for the last few thousand years.
Maybe some people
Look,
didn't like I did.
I've been trying to check out the Odyssey for this amount of time, but I keep getting distracted by Israel. I'm sorry.
You get distracted by a Trojan horse, is what it is.
A 3-hour montage of Matt Damon and his dudes hauling absolute ass to get back to their boat not long after realizing they made an absolute fuck up coming ashore.
I'm on a boat.
Run away!
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Brave Sir Robin ran away. No, stop that.
What are we? Some kind of Trojan horse? Gee, yeah, I guess it's Trojan horse in around time.
Those are the Letterboxd Floodliners for the Odyssey. Please follow the show on our Letterboxd HQ account at Movie Night Extra. You have all the great stuff from these episodes that we do, attendant short form content write-ups, all that good kind of thing. By the way, this could be from Dune. This background. I was like, oh yeah.
That too, right?
They've got to find a role for Matt Damon in Dune.
Yeah, exactly.
Robert Pattinson in this new one, like.
Exactly. We'll see what happens.
I like the idea that they keep making Dune movies, but they keep adding to that cast.
Yeah.
Follow your host, Blind Cyclops, at Always Flock over there for his journeys adventuring on Letterboxd formats. You can follow him on there. I am at Conan Neutron. Who doesn't understand thunder? That's a great thing for what's
or a child.
will. Exactly. Or crosstalk on a podcast. You can follow me for the Criterion Challenge, highbrow, midbrow, Populous Fair, all that kind of stuff. Logging all kinds of things. Like I said, just did Morven Caller right before this, which was insane because I totally forgot Samantha Morton was even in this, and that was actually kind of cool in its way. And I got the Criterion Challenge. I think like 12 more for this year, left, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's moving right along. The British accented Greek TM, Adam Kristina down there, is she's logging stuff, especially lots of these summer blockbusters and what have you coming up, right? You got a couple of those that you're gonna be doing.
I'm gonna be logging the Odyssey tonight because I wanted to wait till after the episode because I was preparing for something funny.
Okay, got it. Is it tied into this episode or?
Yeah.
No. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to follow you on Letterboxd. I'm Kristina to find out. Zach, of course, Zach Marsh, one of my favorite Letterboxd people that has become one of my favorite people that's in this gibbering circus of a show that we have. Zach B, like boy, Marsh on Letterboxd. Great follow. I know you've been you're deep in it as well. I saw you did a Disclosure Day, back rooms. You've been keeping up on stuff.
I fell behind. Like, I feel for the first significant time, I fell 2 months behind my Letterboxd logs. I also haven't seen many things so far. I'm only on 18 films. But yeah, I finally caught up. I did Disclosure Day. I saw Obsession and Backrooms. Fucking hated Obsession. Fucking thing sucks.
Oh yeah, so you're really a nice guy, Zach, huh? That's why.
No. Actually, the reason I hated Obsession is I hate Bear. Bear, Bear sucks, but he sucks as
But he made some good points.
No. But he's I actually think that I don't blame the actor.
I feel like if you hate the movie,
I think that character is just so.
All right.
He's such a whiny little shit. Anyway, that's the whole thing.
You can have these discussions in the popular Letterboxd format. Zach B. Marsh on there. Forrest, let's hit with the plugs, then with some final thoughts and get the hell out of here.
If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe, and then hit the bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. And we'd humbly request that you watch the video to the end because it helps us with the algorithm and helps more film fans to discover the show. We're also monetized. If you want to get your chat questions definitely read on stream, You can always send us a super chat, which will help us keep the show going. Every cent helps. If you're watching on Twitch, you can gift us a free sub on Amazon Prime with your Prime membership, but getting subs on Twitch is always appreciated, and it helps to follow us on there as well. We also have an audio feed, which is available wherever you download podcasts, if you prefer to listen to podcasts rather than watch the stream. That's updated usually the same day we stream, but watching on YouTube and Twitch is the best way to get the show first, live as it happens. If you want to support us with a monthly donation and get access to all of our after parties forever, which go patron only after we do them, you can become a patron at patreon.com/movie night extra. Link is in the description for that. It really helps us keep the show going since we do have some expenses to make this happen. We also have a Discord community. Link is in the description for that. We sometimes watch movies we cover on there. We get into conversations about everything from film to TV shows to related podcasts. We even have a Discord channel for memes. It's really fun on there. You can find us on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and Threads. You connect with us on all of those. Talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. Lastly, we recently made a TikTok at Movie Night Extra where we're putting up short-form clips from the episodes. Okay, passing this to Conan so he can tell you about his music and this week's Protonic Reversal. Conan, who's on Protonic this week?
Yeah, so I canceled Protonic this week because my friend Jennifer Finch, Ville 7, passed away on Sunday. And so I reposted her episode plus. She was on the 10-year episode as well, and with a little intro and whatnot, and decided to take the week off because it's a bummer. She was a hell of a person, obviously amazing musician, but just like a real firecracker of a human being. And, you know, it was announced she had brain cancer about a week and a half ago, and just all happened very quickly. So it's kind of a bummer. But the Protonic continues on. I've got Steve Until of Neurosis coming up, Haka Di Picciotto coming up as well, Blog Dahlia of the Dwarves coming up in August, so that should be interesting. Lots of stuff, ProtonicReversal.com, archives all 13 years of it or so, patreon.com/ProtonicReversal, $1 a month for advance access for all that. Back on after this. It was just too soon for me. NeutronFriends.bandcamp.com. Conan Neutron Secret Friends back out on tour. West Coast in August. So, we're playing San Francisco, Sacramento, Eureka at the Siren Song, as I mentioned. Portland and Seattle with The Null. A bunch of great bands there. September 5th in Los Angeles as well. And then the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th is Milwaukee, Madison, Chicago, Minneapolis coming up, and there's some stuff coming up in the fall as well that I'll probably be able to announce maybe after the Dark Knight Rises, so next couple weeks. And so that's what's happening there. One more time, the Film Suck episode I did with Eileen for the works of Howard Hawks. That was a great discussion, so please check that out. I was on the Four Strings and the Truth podcast recently, which is a bass-oriented podcast, and that should be coming out very soon. And then I'm going to be on the 1001 Album Complaints again, talking about Wire, Pink Flag, coming up. So that should be out before the tour. There's going to be a bunch of shows that I'm on and kind of wag the dog a little bit for these headlining shows in the West Coast. It's been a while since we did that, so I'm not saying I'm nervous. I'm just putting in the work, as they say. So NeutronFriends.com for all that good stuff. NeutronFriends.bandcamp.com. Might be a new video coming. We'll see. Well, there's definitely a new video coming. Might be a new video coming soon.
I was going to say, what do you mean we'll see? There's got to be a new video coming at some point.
At some point I would imagine there's going to be. But so that's all what's happening in my world. Other than that, just trying to keep this AC working, frankly. Kristina, what do you got going on?
Well, for those who don't know, I was in a video about Hassan Piker and his fans, which was a lot of fun to participate in. No one's attacking me, though. They're all attacking all my friends who are women of color. So go figure.
Go white privilege.
Strikes again. That was a lot of fun. And Hassan reacted to it. I had people coming into my chat saying, "Yo, Hassan's watching you right now." And I'm like, "Oh, great. Yay. Like that." Okay. And I was also on Leftist Mafia this past Thursday, which was, I'm like, why are we watching Trump for like 30 to 45 minutes of my precious time? I don't want to do this.
Thanks, baby.
Like, I'm just saying, peace and love and all. But I was like, really? We have to watch Trump give a boring ass speech. I almost fell asleep. I've been streaming. I upped my Vine, so I've been streaming like 16-hour days. It's crazy what I've been doing. shout out, been doing a lot of gaming. It's amazing how much time goes by when you're building a strip club in The Sims 4. I'm just saying. I've been doing that. Wicked Whims mod, it's fun. Shadow Saturdays are still happening. People are like, can it be Saturday, Kristina? Can it be Saturday? Can we watch Dark Shadows today, please? Like, I'm glad that people are really loving that. Both Dark Shadows movies from MGM are on YouTube if you guys want to watch them. We've already seen like the first one like twice. I'm waiting to watch the David Selby one. Once we get to Quentin Collins' introduction, because that's more about the second one's more about him. Because Jonathan Frid was like, I don't want to be associated with Barnabas for a while. My Philly anniversary is coming up on the weekend of August 2nd, so I'm gonna be doing a lot of. Forrest is gonna make a graphic for me.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, we're gonna be it's gonna be a lot of fun, challenges, games, watch parties, and maybe have people appear 5 years on this godforsaken platform. But things are finally looking up for me, it seems. I'm very happy and appreciative of my community and all that you've done. And and also I'm right now my schedule is a little messed up because I'm taking care of my dog breeding customers. She has 3 litter of puppies. And
that's a lot of puppies. Be careful, who doesn't throw them off any cliffs.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, Jesus
so
Christ.
cute and little, but it's very easy. Like my mom's like helping me or whatever, but I'm like, you're slowing me down. I know what I'm doing. Okay, just let me do everything. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to. Just been streaming my ass off and having a good time.
All right.
Yeah, don't worry. Whiskey's the one that's like, when are we watching Dark Shadows again?
Yeah. No spoilers for this 3,000-year-old story, please. Zach, you got any plugs? Got anything to plug before we go to final thoughts?
I just shot a short film called "Will Everything Be Okay?" That I was I don't know if I would call. I would say like co-lead. It's kind of a dual protagonist kind of thing. I got sunburned to shit, which I tell. Because we shot outside on the shore of Lake Ontario for like 3 hours on Tuesday. And when you have a crew of 4 people, a crew of 2 people and a cast of 2 people, you don't really have any like infrastructure to set up like shade.
That's right.
Shit. So that was great. But, I'm happy with my performance. I have no idea what the situation is with the film, when it'll be finished, and like how it'll come out. But I'm really happy with my work in it. It was worth getting sunburned for.
That's awesome. I mean, that's great because it's been a while since Talk in the Park, so that's great.
Yeah, and I've acted since then in some things, but this feels like the first, in a little bit, the first like real substantial kind of main part that I've had in a thing.
Nice.
And I'm hopefully by the end of the summer we'll be finished writing While We're on the Way to There, which will be my first feature, however the fuck you make a feature these days. And I'm
streaming directly on a smart fridge, I think is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know what? It's going to get to the point where if you want to like light up like, your stove, you're going to have to watch like a 1-minute ad before it fires up, and it's going to piss me off.
Premiering on the LG network.
I'm going to
your blender's gonna show you what.
I'm wrapping up my album too. I'm finally
good for you.
The song, so I have to dash out some lyrics, get the vocals recorded. It's gonna sound very demo-y because again, it's all like I've sent you stuff, Conan. Like it's all canned. It's canned instruments.
Yeah.
It's not because I can't get a fucking string orchestra in my bedroom. If I could,
it's very expensive. Yeah,
I don't have a way to record it that wouldn't sound like horse shit. So I'm just figured, what the hell? I'll use string patches and I'll use woodwind patches, and you know what? Like just like sequence it note by note. So it's still my music. It's still my arrangement. It's canned instruments. It'll be my vocals, and it's gonna sound like a 10 song demo. But I really like these songs. And maybe if enough people like these songs and like want to, pay to listen to them, maybe I can then pay to actually properly record this album. So you'll get the album's called The Dogs on Main Street, and
I'll say is careful, because that's how Conan Neutron and Secret Friends started. Is that was the demo and stuff on my own, and then it turned into what it is now. Yeah.
But maybe you'll get
10 years later.
You'll get the Dogs on Main Street electric or acoustic or unplugged or whatever the fuck you want to call the actual instrument version of it. But
sure.
Yeah, the Dogs on Main Street is the album, and While We're on the Way to There is the feature film. The album will come out first because I'm like it's a one-man show. I kind of need other people to come help me make the feature film. So
yeah, it's a lot harder to do that on your own.
Yeah, and it's just that there are other characters in the movie. I can't, it's not a situation. It would be weird if I played myself and my sister. I think Adam Sandler tried to do that once, and it was really bad. So I'm not making Jack and Jill here.
That's funny.
All right, Zach, do you have some final thoughts for the Odyssey?
Fucking 10 out of 10 again. Fucking, I don't understand how Nolan does it. I don't he just Christopher Nolan fucking walks outside and makes one of the best movies of all time. He blinks and makes one of the best movies of all time. This is my second favorite of the year. Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie has managed to hold its top spot still,
which I think is going to streaming this week, like Gen Pop streaming.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I at this point, I genuinely think Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie only has Dune Part 3 left as its competition to hold top spot for the year for me.
That's right.
But number 2 of the year, it's my third favorite Nolan behind Oppenheimer and Memento, which are two movies. Oppenheimer's a top 10 movie of all time for me, and Memento changed my life. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good company.
To have a bronze medal amongst. I would argue.
Exactly.
But yeah, it feels like, genuinely feels like the 21st century answer to Lawrence of Arabia, which is also a movie that's incredibly close to my heart. I cannot wait to watch this thing again. I meant to see it. I had a ticket to see it on Friday as well as Thursday, and I got back home at 2 a.m. from the Thursday screening.
Perfect time for a 2 a.m. showing too, because they've been having those.
I'm not here unfortunately, but
around the world.
I was supposed to see it twice this weekend. I only ended up getting to see it once. But I'm so stoked this weekend to go back again. And I have a feeling that it'll climb even high. It's very high on my all-time list.
It's pretty dense, so there's probably a lot you could have a revisit out of.
Oh yeah, for sure. There are little connecting things that I didn't notice and whatnot. But I have a feeling that it'll ascend my all-time list each time I watch it. It'll settle very high for me. It's an absolute one of the all-time great. I mean I would call it historical epic because the Trojan War was a thing. So this is everything that I wish Gladiator 2 could have at least tried.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, man.
All right. Kristina.
This is probably going to give Nolan a bunch of Oscars. I'm calling it. This is going to be the one to beat.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be another one where it's oh, okay, Best Picture, The Odyssey. Yeah. Oh, Best Director, Christopher Nolan. This is probably going to be another weak-ish year for the Academy besides Project Hail Mary.
Project Hail Mary, honestly, The Invite, it's a sleeper. It's a sleeper, I feel like. And I feel like it's getting enough steady momentum.
Going to put up a good fight too.
Yeah.
I think The Odyssey is going to win Best Picture, but if it doesn't, Fjord is I kind of have it at number 2 right now. I haven't seen it yet, but just based on the response at Cannes, the Palme d'Or win, it feels like it has a lot in common with Anora in terms of its reception so far.
Okay. So, all right. That's a Sebastian Stan and Renata Reinsva movie, right? With
also, like you said, I meant to touch on for Oscars. I think my prediction is Odyssey gets picture, gets director, gets supporting actor for Leguizamo, gets score. I think they might as well just give Ludwig the fucking Oscar now.
Score's gonna be hard to beat. It's pretty badass. Yeah.
I don't even think Zimmer's score for Dune sounds like it's going to be fucking like unbelievable, and even that, I don't even think that score is going to compete. Editing, it's going to win, and fucking director, like it's adapted screenplay. I think it's that I'm expecting it to walk out with all of those.
Well, it's also July, so we'll see.
Yeah, but I just think this is put its staff so far in the dirt.
All the Oscars go to Avengers Doomsday.
I mean, the fact that we're talking about John Leguizamo for like being serious as like being Oscar nominated and be like, yeah, he would deserve it. I mean, that's crazy.
I still remember when he was Luigi in the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Right,
but
exactly.
he is, again, to compare to like recent winner. Like I just see the Sean Penn train happening with that performance, like starting now all the way to March. I don't like it's. I actually think it's to his benefit that the film's come out earlier, because it's come out ahead of all the other contenders in that category for him, and I just don't see how anyone mounts a campaign that's going to top the one that Leguizamo is going to have, and the momentum and also the narrative. Like he's fucking overdue for this shit, because he probably should have won for fucking like Wong Fu. So and
he was pretty great in The Menu too, but The Menu had like no profile. But
but like and then on top,
and I like that he says he was like, I was basically being Steven Seagal, because he worked with Steven Seagal in a movie, and I guess he was a real prick to him. What a shocker! But like in The Menu, like if you watch that movie, just realize that he's playing Steven Seagal. It's even funnier.
And it's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be like cinematography, obviously, like production design, makeup, hair, costumes. It's gonna be nominated in all of those. But I think that it's on track for like 6 or 7 wins.
So that's Zach Marsh's early Oscar picks podcast in the middle of Christina's final thoughts.
Yeah.
Christina,
those were all my final thoughts.
We're not gonna lock it in. Like I'm gonna wait till my before the Oscars to do my final picks. But it's gonna be I'm hard pressed to think that they're gonna change at the same time. I would be surprised at the very least if my best picture prediction changes.
Okay.
All right. Conan?
Well, me, Conan Neutron. Yeah. This is one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and it delivered big time. So we got a sweeping, sprawling, grandiose tale based on one of the great epics of human civilization. It's vital, thrilling, but it shows the human aspects of it. Great technical precision, great physicality. As I mentioned, as a kid, I was very much into different mythologies, Egyptian, Norse, Roman, and especially Greek. So I read the Iliad multiple times. My favorite was always the Odyssey, and it was a transport for me from a very chaotic and troubled childhood to a world where I could use the theater of the mind to go on this journey with Odysseus and his dudes. And it's the same way I would later with Lord of the Rings and whatnot. I love a good art house movie. We all know that, right? Probably more than the next guy. But some of my favorite movies are small-scale stories with great poignancy. But to see these creatures, Scylla and Cerberus on the biggest screen I've seen in a long time, seriously with the pigs, all that stuff, it's a grandiose adventure movie that we haven't seen the likes of in quite some time. Yeah. So I would have been really into it just for the spectacle of it. But the fact that we got a not heavy-handed examination of post-war disillusion and guilt and man's inhumanity to man, and it didn't feel tacked on, that's pretty impressive. So I loved it. I can't wait to see it again. Love the talk on it. Doesn't surprise me. It's almost as long as the movie. And let's go, man. I think we'll be talking about the Odyssey for a long time to come. I think it's already made its money back too, right? Which is crazy because it was like $250 million or something, which is like wow.
And even hit it within the first few days.
Amazing.
Even if it is like because obviously they went crazy with the marketing. Like even if it has to make 5 or 6, it's clearly going to get there. Like the worst case scenario I think is this movie makes like $800 million.
Oh, so Nolan's The Odyssey made back its $250 million budget in 3 days without industry-wide AI cost cutting.
Woohoo!
So. And a lot of people were talking, when Oppenheimer came out, be like, oh, that was his one for him. But that ended up being a hit too. So there's this. What the hell does he do next? Like
horror.
I can't apparently. Okay.
He's gonna jump on the Possession remake.
Anyway, no after party. Next week we're closing out Blockbuster month.
Yeah, with Titanic, and then also
which I have still never seen, but I will watch before next week. So
we're following that up.
Like a Discord watch party for that one.
Sure, yeah, why not?
Yeah, we can do it Sunday.
We're following that up with the Nolan Batman movies. We're going to be talking about.
We're not done with Nolan, right? Technically speaking, Blockbuster month continues into August, but Batman's going to begin. Then we're going to do The Dark Knight, and then The Dark Knight's going to rise. And that's what August is going to be for us.
So join us for that stuff. But for tonight, we've dropped 3 episodes.
Heard of the Odyssey.
Yeah, we're exhausted.
We dropped Backroom. We dropped Odyssey, and then also tomorrow, Kristina and I are doing our hour-long show, and then then I'm off for the week, and I'm gonna go
Well, the thing is, I don't know if we might be able to do Absurd Space because I got them dogs to take care of. So.
Oh, all right. Well, if we can't do Absurd Space, then we're gonna be putting Backrooms on.
What, like take care of? Like throw them off a cliff?
Well, all right, then you can watch.
Oh my god!
Then you can watch our Backrooms episode during Absurdity Space.
That's right. We've done plenty.
All right. Well, we are going. We're tuning out for the week.
Tuning off, tuning on.
Tuning around. We're tuning around.